Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Crime and Sports. Yay, yes, yay. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmy Wissman.
We couldn't be happier to be joining you as usual.
It's so late at night right now.
Yeah, we are recording late night.
Super late.
After a long comedy weekend. And, yeah, we've about had it. But that's the thing. I would be totally ready to just drop right now. But this thing that's in front of me
It's so exciting.
is too exciting to possibly rest with. I've been doing this, and I've been up, and this case is insane. This whole thing is batshit, and it sucks for me personally. This particular case we're going to do this week really sucks for me because I loved this guy a lot growing up as a sports fan, and I really, really liked him. And everybody who's ever watched football in the time period he played liked him. He's never a guy like, I hate that fucking guy.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I love him. He's great. And
It's because his last name's so fun to say.
his last name, he's tiny.
Yeah.
But before we get into that, I just want to thank everybody this week for their iTunes reviews especially. Guys, thank you so much, so much. We really, really appreciate it. That is the thing to do. If you're a new listener, welcome aboard. Thanks for joining us. You're in for some shit. Yeah. We're going to have a good time. But please, if you like what we do here, please give us 5 stars on iTunes. Say something nice. Say you're following directions, following instructions, whatever, like we always say, our little inside joke. And help us move up the charts and help us kind of get to the next level. And it's all you guys. Crime and Sports Movement, thank you guys so much. Thank you for all your interaction. We're going to do a bunch of shout-outs later on. So we appreciate everybody out there. Thank you guys. Without further ado.
Yeah, let's get into this thing.
It's a thick pile, and it is just, we are chock full of crime this week, guys. It's just arrest after trial, after...
This might be the thickest one.
Alleged, it's thick, it's juicy, it's Dave Meggett, guys.
It's a lot.
Dave Meggett. David Lee Meggett.
This stack is taller than he is.
It's taller than Dave. Dave, as you guys might remember, if you were a football fan from 1989 to about 1998, and you saw Dave. Dave is a little tiny guy. He's 5'7", 190.
Jesus.
So, I mean, Jimmy, he's
my
you.
size.
He's you,
Yeah.
but when he retired was the all-time leading NFL punt returner.
Really?
You would have had your neck broken
Yeah, a
by
million
week 2.
times.
Not even practice leading up to it. Just training camp would have killed you.
He somehow figured it out.
Somehow figured it out.
All-time leading punt returner.
Yeah, he's second now, but he was
like
number
yardage
one when he
or
yardage.
okay, that's
number
incredible.
1 when he retired. Which
Wow.
is, and he didn't play for 20 years. He
And
played
who is
for
it now?
10
That little
years.
fucker from the Bears?
Why am I Hester?
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah, Devin Hester.
So I know he's got all the touchdowns, Mr.
Yeah.
Hester. So let's get right into David Lee Meggett because he is a mess. This guy is a disaster.
He's a monster without the size.
And you're going to hear me as we go through the chronology of this whole thing go from like happy memories of loving him and things on the field and then just going to just liking him less
Just
and less
despair.
until we're telling him to fuck off later on, which will come. But David Lee Meggett, born April 30th, 1966 in Charleston, South Carolina.
All right.
He's a South Carolina fellow. He grows up in North Charleston, South Carolina, which is not North Charleston. It's a separate city called North Charleston.
Really?
Yeah, Charleston is kind of like a charming
it's
type
beautiful.
of place. Yeah, North Charleston.
Historic as fuck.
North Charleston reeks from toxic fumes from a paper mill nearby. Literally, that's like it's a horrible place. Tons of crime. It's
Awesome.
a shithole, basically. Yeah. It's awful. Meggett grows up there. Not an easy childhood for Dave. But, you know, here's a shocker, Jimmy. This is a weird thing. Guys, fasten your seatbelts for this one. Dad left when he was still in the womb.
Amazing.
Yeah, he is the youngest of 8 kids.
Wow.
And Dad, wait, I don't know if that Dad was the dad of all 8, and then the 8th one he was like, I can't take this shit anymore. I'm getting the fuck out of here.
7 was my fucking. That was my
I said,
threshold.
lucky 7,
yeah.
fine. 8, there's nothing
fuck,
lucky
I'm
about
gone.
that.
I'm
No.
leaving.
It's too round. I don't want any part of it. No way.
8 sounds like a nightmare.
But yeah, his dad takes off. His mother tries her best, obviously, but she's got 8 kids, and she's in a terrible, awful shithole of a place.
Yeah.
And she's a short order cook to try to make ends meet, and it's just very sad. There's a lot of street crime too, and Dave though is very, very focused. He tells people from an early age, "I'm going to college. I'm playing football."
How about that?
And they're like, "Look at you little guy. That's cute." And
That's
rub his little head.
adorable. You got a
That's
little,
adorable.
Got a little dream.
Look at you with your little dream. Isn't that cute? That is so cute.
You're tiny, Dave. Don't forget
they give
that.
him one noogie. You send him on his way.
Have you seen Lyle Alzado? You want to play against
Get
him?
him to tackle you? Is that really it? But yeah, he avoids the streets through all this, so that's a good thing anyway. Football keeps him off the streets at this point. He's fine till he gets to the NFL. That's the thing. Everything is fine. Everybody loves him, and then problems start after that. He goes to Morgan State first, which is a Division 2A school.
Okay.
And
Where's that at?
I don't know where that is.
Morgan State?
Morgan State.
I'll Google it while we keep going.
It's a terrible small college.
Yeah.
And that's only where he went at first. And then he ended up at Townsend after that.
Really?
And yeah, Townsend's a little better, but still 1AA. Great college career. In 1988, which is his senior year, he wins the Walter Payton Award.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the Division 2A Player of the Year award.
Wow.
So, I mean, he's a bad little
Morgan
shit.
State's in Maryland.
Maryland. Okay, I figured it was somewhere
It's just
in
up
that,
the road. It's not far.
Mid-Atlantic
Yeah.
region, I kind of figured. I mean, he's just very explosive on the field.
I can imagine.
At one point later on, he is ranked or rated, however they would rate this, but I saw he's rated as like the number 5 strongest player in the NFL.
Really?
I guess it's probably pound for pound.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't imagine he's bench pressing more than a 330-pound
Yeah,
lineman.
right,
But,
exactly.
You know what I mean? He's like an ant.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he can lift 10 times his body weight. He's very
Right.
tiny, but he's drafted by the Giants.
He's Ant-Man.
He's Ant-Man. Drafted by the New York Giants in the 5th round.
He was drafted by them.
Of
Okay.
the 1989
89.
draft.
That
And
makes sense.
I remember him exploding. I
Yeah.
mean, rookie year he was a sensation.
Yeah.
You couldn't miss this guy. He was a little number 30. And
It's such a manly face.
oh yeah, a little manly
With
face.
a chiseled jaw.
He was nasty little kind of slot guy, backfield running back. He caught as many passes as he had rushes in the leagues at the end. So, I mean, that's what he would do.
He was a square, though. He was very strong and stocky.
but just a little tiny pinball.
right.
And just, he looked like, oh, God, they're going to kill him when they tackle him. And he would somehow bounce around. And he was just, he would come out of the
That's how
backfield.
he got his yards. They're like, don't hurt the little guy.
Don't
just
hurt
push
them.
him
They
over.
felt bad. They tried to just gently bring him to the ground. It didn't work. He keeps running. He comes out of the backfield, catches passes, third down back, and punt returner extraordinaire. That's what he's really, really meant for. Bill Parcells, who will become as silver-haired, a middle-aged gentleman as we have ever covered, just absolute. First, he hates Dave Meggett.
Really?
He did not want him drafted. He bitched to the general manager, quote, "What do I need another midget for?"
Hilarious.
So I don't need this
They already
guy.
had one?
They had Joe Morris at the
Oh,
time,
right.
who's like 5'9" or something.
What do I need another midget
Another
for?
midget with the fucking. And Joe Morris was a great back too. That '86 championship.
Pick
he
a
was big
giant
cog.
fella that'll lock me out of practice like LT's doing every other week.
No shit. But hey, LT got on that field, and I know LT just got arrested, and I don't know what happened, but goddamn it, he's still the best player to ever walk on the fucking field. I don't care what anybody says.
It's
Argue
just a
with me, it
DUI.
doesn't matter.
He hit a
DUI,
tree, and then he
fine.
hit a cop car.
I'm okay with that. No civilians involved.
He sideswiped a cop. That's
The cop,
fucking
is
awesome.
he okay, the cop?
Yeah.
All right, fine.
I
Who
think it
cares
was in
then?
Charleston, too. No,
Give
no, I
the
think
guy
it's
an
in Florida.
autograph and fucking...
Yeah.
He can say there, he got sacked by LT. I'm just older now and I use my car. Same
Sign
thing.
him a book and hand it over.
There you go, pal. So ends up being Bill Parcells' favorite player pretty much
Really?
ever. I mean, he just loves it because he's so versatile. He
Yeah.
catches punts, you put him on third down, he's bouncy, he comes out, he's tough to tackle, he's explosive. He's a playmaker.
He's a playmaking utility player. You can use him anywhere.
If he touches the ball, everybody goes, "Oh shit," because he might go. I mean,
Right.
you might not tackle him. He's that kind of guy. A little nowhere near as good, but a little Barry Sanders-esque little bouncer. Didn't have Barry Sanders acrobatics. and
Did
all
he
that
get a
shit,
ring?
though. Dave Meggett got a ring.
How about that?
Absolutely. Later on, we'll get to that. His rookie year, though, 89, he makes the Pro Bowl that year. That's how good he is in his rookie year.
Wow, in his rookie year, he's in the Pro Bowl.
Leads the league with 582 punt yards and 1 touchdown. So, I mean...
That's incredible.
He kills it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're Phil Simms. Here's a quote from Phil Simms, who at the time was a starting quarterback, and he has 2 rings with the Giants from 86 and 90. He says, quote, we're working David into the offense, letting him do more things each week. He's still young. We don't want to rush him, but he's got great talent. And every time he gets the ball, you have to watch out. So that's basically it. One of the scouts said, of all the guys he covered, he said, he's the guy I lost my voice over. So that says a lot. Like,
he's
just
like, screaming,
shit,
I can't believe it.
This fucking guy.
Look at this little guy go.
Look at him. Oh, my God. I hope he doesn't rape people.
Foreshadowing.
A little foreshadowing, guys. Next season, 1990, leads the league in punt return yards. Again. Has another touchdown. I mean, he's great. 1989, 1990. 1990. Now, Mark Collins says of him, who's a teammate, cornerback Mark Collins. I think he was number 25 on those teams. I remember Mark Collins making a fucking play that drives me nuts now. In the 1988 playoffs against the Rams, Jim Everett's a 4th down play, long, it was like 4th and 12. Jim Everett throws his shit pass over the middle for the Rams, and Mark Collins fucking interferes with the receiver and gets a first down. The Rams end up winning the playoff game. I've never been so angry at a man in my life. Mark Collins, you asshole. So anyway, he says of old Dave, quote, Dave walked around the locker room just shucking and jiving and laughing. He had that embracing, funny element to him. Everybody just gravitated to him. So that's everybody liked Dave.
It's tough to say shuck and jive, though, and not feel racist.
It is. Well, Mark Collins is very black, the quarterback.
So
he can say, and I'm quoting him, it's fine. I am not judging Dave's ability to shuck and or jive. That has nothing to do with me.
Collins has got to tone it down, though.
Collins a little bit, yeah. He said it kind of white, too, the way he said it, too.
Yeah, that whole phrase sounds like a white
just
guy's
gravitated
phrase.
to him.
Everyone
it was wonderful.
Gravitated to him.
It was wonderful.
He was shucking and jiving. It makes you
shucking and jiving. Big smile on his face. Just all you could see his teeth. He was fantastic. Fucking Mark Collins, very
black. Thank God
Mark
Collins didn't throw Step and Fetch it in there.
Absolutely. So, I mean, great season there in 89 after his rookie year. You know, February 8th, 1990, before the 1990 season. He's in Baltimore, Maryland. It is 11:45 in the morning, mind you.
Nothing happens good.
11:45.
Oh, morning. What?
Morning. This is mid-morning.
Oh,
now,
boy.
This is in an area like the waterfront area. There are business people like going to lunch and stuff. Like this is a very.
They're going down to get their crab cakes.
And he is going down to apparently get a prostitute because
it's that time of day.
It's that time of day.
He just woke up and it's rock hard.
Any time of day is that time of day for Dave Meggett, as we're going to find out. He has so much horny packed into his little fucking frame. It is
unbelievable.
It's not even horny. It's just he's the tiniest monster I've ever seen. Like,
it's just sex
see.
Rage.
He has all the monstrosity of Tom Paine
packed into 5'9".
Yeah, this 7'2", 300
5'7"
pound
is that what you said?
Yeah, packed into a 5'7" man.
Jesus.
He's even got it. We'll get into this. I'm not going to give this away. Okay, so he's arrested and charged with lewdness and soliciting a prostitute. Lewdness in the Fells Point area.
Tugged his dick out and was like, do you want some of this?
I think it's for what he said.
How much for this one?
How much for one of these? I got one of these. How much? I was in the Pro Bowl last year.
It's not blotchy. It's solid.
I'm in the Pro Bowl.
How much for a Pro Bowl dick?
Pro Bowl cock. So Officer Mary Wittase said that she saw Meggett drive by the street twice in his car. He went forward. He went back. And she was, observed this because she's a police officer and she's playing a prostitute. She's out there.
It's a sting?
It's a sting, yeah.
Brutal.
She's out there doing that. So she walked down the block a little, went across the street. When she went across the street, she said Meggett pulled up in his car to the curb and stuck his head out the window, which I find fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
He pulls up, he's so tiny, he's got his little head out the window. Hey, how you doing? Can I get some? Like, it's just so ridiculous. Like he was ordering a taco out of a damaged box,
I'll take a suck and fuck to go, please.
Suck and fuck to go, please. Ironic that you said that, too, because we'll get to what he was after here.
Get out of here. He said that?
We'll see. Well,
that is awesome.
We'll see. She, apparently, like I said, he said, quote, are you looking for a date? She said, why? And he said, because I'm interested, right? And that's how that went down. And then she asked, well, what do you want? and he, quote, this is all I could get out of all these articles, quote, gave the slang term for oral sex and intercourse.
Hilarious.
So
he said suck and
I want to
fuck.
get a half and half for a suck and fuck, or whatever they call it on the Hookers at the Point HBO documentaries.
That's awesome.
And you
I
know
want the original combo meal, the suck and fuck.
The old suck and fuck, the number one. No, not supersize. You know what he offered for this glorious
50
procedure?
bucks.
$40.
40. What a cheap bastard.
He's a prince, isn't he?
I'll give you 20 for each.
40, but yeah, that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
$40, and she called in the other cops, and
Yeah.
they arrest him, and he's taken off to court.
They arrested him on grounds of being too cheap, though.
You
That's
cheap
crazy.
son of a bitch, and I guess his terminology got him the lewdness charge, I imagine, because at no point did it mention that his cock was out.
Yeah.
I will say that. May 1st, 1990, he's acquitted of prostitution. He's
Wow.
acquitted of the soliciting
solicitation.
charge. He takes the stand, and he says, that didn't happen. He says, I talked to her. I tried to, get her number.
Yeah.
I just saw a girl. I was like, hey, what's happening, baby? Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. He said, I didn't offer her any money. I didn't solicit shit. And
How
so
about that?
He got on the stand, and they went, his word versus hers. Who knows? He's
Wow.
in the NFL. He's a Pro Bowler. Bill Parcells loves him. Fuck
Yeah.
it. Let him go.
He leads the NFL
Acquitted.
in punt return charges.
Yeah.
Or yards.
In yardage, and he definitely leads in charges for a while.
That's
challenges
awesome. He
a-
actually
plenty.
said suck and fuck. I
Suck
love
and
that
fuck
so
or
much.
whatever the hell he said.
I hope that's exactly what he said.
I do too. I really do. If I ever get to talk to him and go,
That's
suck
the
and fuck? Was it
funniest
suck and
fucking
fuck? Was that the lewd part? So Mark Collins, his teammate here, says, quote, we made fun of him the next year during the team stretches.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they did, because it was in the paper,
Yeah.
and he was like, hot shit rookie.
Absolutely.
So it was pretty interesting. So 1990 season comes on. Things get much better for Dave, because
Yeah.
in the 1990 season, the Giants win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
One of the most exciting Super Bowls ever, with the last minute, 47-yarder by Scott Norwood misses, and wide right. And he was a big guy. I remember him making a couple big plays in that game, getting some yardage. So
now he's got a ring.
He's got a ring.
That's incredible.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the guy on the Giants for all this shit. They love him. He's a utility guy.
Yeah.
And this is when the Giants start to suck. Because after that Super Bowl,
Yeah.
Bill Parcells leaves. They bring in, I think it was Ray Handley was this fucking guy.
Yeesh.
And he goes, let's get rid of everybody and just be terrible. He looked like a drip. He's just one of these guys.
Was that Hostetler?
That was, he gave the job to Hostetler and all that. And Hostetler was fine, but I like Phil Simms better. But that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Let's keep going here. Dave, in 1993, he throws a touchdown pass on an option. He did this a couple times in his career.
Really?
Yeah, against the Washington Redskins. He's just such a good athlete.
Yeah.
He could do that. And they'd throw it out to him. He'd pitch it out. He'd run out like he's taking off. Everybody's scared because it's Dave.
Yeah.
And throws it.
Throws
and
it right
it's
over.
wide open.
All the safeties charge the
They
line. and,
freeze. Yeah, they're like, oh shit, Meggett's
Yeah,
got the ball.
here he
We
comes.
better, everybody get in your position.
No, he doesn't.
So 1995, Bill Parcells becomes coach of the Patriots. And who does he go out and get? I got to get my guy.
Dave
He goes
Meggett.
out and signs him some Dave Meggett. He said, mister, come over here. My hair is as silver as it comes. and
Where's suck and fuck?
I'd like to help you out. So that's, and he has another event in 1995 as he's arrested for domestic violence against his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And this actually, again, acquitted.
Wow.
He ends up being acquitted. It ends up going in his favor, which is insane.
Yeah.
The judge ruled that he, quote, exerted reasonable force to stop her from entering his home. They're talking about the girlfriend, so whatever. Apparently...
Whatever reasonable force is. How do they deem that? You can put your hands on her to stop her?
Well, apparently the story was she claimed that he picked her up and threw her out onto the concrete, which I don't know if that's considered reasonable force for a strong
Seems excessive.
professional athlete to toss a woman onto the concrete.
Again, that's used to getting hit and hitting people.
Yeah, but apparently they were fine with it, so what are you going to do? He's acquitted. He makes the Pro Bowl again, 96 for the Patriots, so everything's going just fine there. That's terrific. He has 588 punt yards and 1 touchdown in 96.
Wow.
New England goes to the Super Bowl that year.
All right.
They lose to Green Bay and Brett Favre and all that shit, if we remember that Super Bowl. Bill Parcells hangs his head in shame. 1997, he is sued for non-payment of child support.
By the woman that he beat?
No.
Oh, that was just a girlfriend.
There are... Let's get into Dave's...
Let's
get into
How
Dave's
many are there?
extracurricular activity, shall we?
Oh, boy.
Okay. We'll get into that in a second. But he is... woman. She sues him for non-payment of child support for a 21-month-old daughter. He owes $60,000 in back child support.
Jesus.
2 weeks before this is what prompted her to do this. He refused to put the kid on his health insurance. So she said, okay, well, give me your fucking child support then. At the trial, Dave claimed it wasn't his kid, which they found out it was, but he was like, I ain't my kid.
I'm just doing her a favor.
I don't know. He also broke down crying on the stand and said that, oh my God, said that, quote, reading the Bible has led me to a moral epiphany.
Oh, no.
He literally went with the Bible.
What
defense.
a dick.
He's like, I've been reading the Bible.
He owed $61,000.
60.
Okay, at what point do you start, that's a lot of fucking money.
It is.
Well, at what point do you start raising hell? 20, I'd say, is a pretty good number to be like, look, maybe we should start talking about some doubling up some payments here and there. You let it get to 60 before you sue?
Well, this she probably had to get in line because
right.
1 second here. Dave would show up, or one thing here in this court proceeding. He's such a dick, and everybody thinks he's like such a great guy. He would show up early. He would show up early before court to sign autographs and take pictures with the court staff and shit. Like, they're just the typist, and this guy's like, hey guys, let's take some autographs. It's like so ridiculous, man. It's so ridiculous.
Hey, you that's about to transcribe my words, want an autograph and a picture?
And big shocker, guess what? It works. Judge reduces the $60,000 to $22,500.
Wow.
So basically a third.
Wow.
So the Bible thing and the showing up, and they said, he's a good guy. What are we talking about here? Meanwhile, he's a professional goddamn football player. And I would have less sympathy for him because he has less than, guess. I'm
going to go with 9.
9 kids.
No way.
Ding, ding, ding.
I am good at Dave Meggett. This is great.
How many different women?
7.
8.
8. He has 2 with one woman.
He
everybody,
just said, fuck that.
Fuck you, Jimmy. You don't know shit.
You don't know anything. It's 8.
He has 8.
7. You think I am?
9 kids with 8 women.
Player. 8.
He only knocked up 1 twice. Everybody else gets 1. Yeah. He's just spraying Meggett seed everywhere.
Little Meggets flying around everywhere. Like Chris Berman used to say, look at that little Meggett run. Look at those little sperms swim. They get into everything.
That is incredible.
Unreal. Not big on paying child support,
He's the original Sean Kemp.
He is. And an ex-girlfriend said about him talking about the kids, this is unreal. She said, quote, he said those women were groupies. He never intended to have a child with them, so he didn't look at it as his child.
He sure wasn't not trying. I
didn't mean to have a kid with them, so it's not mine.
It ain't mine.
It's hers, though. Yeah. She has to pay for it, so someone should.
I wasn't trying, so...
Unreal, man.
The only time I get a kid is when I'm trying. Is that what it is?
That's it. And so...
By that count, I don't have any kids either.
No kids. You have no kids, Jimmy. None. Hey, you know what? Go home, pack your shit up, go get a 1-bedroom apartment.
At least so you can deal with these kids on your own, because those are not mine. I wasn't trying.
I wasn't trying. That's all you.
I wasn't trying to have kids. I was trying to finish, but I wasn't trying to have kids.
Relieve the responsibility. You weren't trying.
That's what I've learned from this podcast so far.
She was just a groupie. Just say my wife was a groupie. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
She's a groupie.
We've been married for years, and, we're raising a family, but you know what? I didn't mean for that to happen.
You are a real wife groupie.
You're a real wife groupie. And this is the best part. The 1997 New England Patriots media guide listed him having 1 kid, which is great. Davin, who ends up actually later on playing in a bunch of NFL practice squads. Right. And he's a little squirrely shit like his
Their
father.
math was a little off.
A little off there. Davin here says about Dave, quote, if he cares about someone, he's going to go out of his way to take care of you. He's really been a best friend to 40 or 50 different people. He did the best he could. I mean, you try raising 9 kids in 4 states with no money. How about don't get 8 women fucking pregnant with 9 kids in 4 states with no money?
Wear rubbers, dum-dum.
Good God. That's the other thing. Yeah, he's not big on that either. He doesn't really care, as we're going to get into some shit here.
Clearly.
December 6th, 1997. This is the day before a game. They're in Jacksonville, Florida, getting ready to play the Jaguars. Meggett is served with a writ by Florida marshals, so the cops come to the hotel. And he's not allowed to leave the state until he posts a $25,000 bond for non-payment of child support. Again,
he's a deadbeat dad.
He just does it,
Getting caught up in those laws.
He posted the bond at the team hotel. Who knows? Bill Parcells probably pulled it out of his pocket. Here you go, Dave. Why don't you go in there? pay this off and get out on the field tomorrow.
Go break for a touchdown for us, would you?
Absolutely. And he, next day, December 7th, 1997, in Jacksonville, he has 5 rushes for 22 yards, 5 receptions for 39 yards, and very, crucial points. And Patriots win 26-20. So, I mean, gets right back on the field. Parcells goes,
forgets all about it.
Your little Meggett sperm running. I don't give a shit. I couldn't care less how many people you knock up. So, February 1998. This is when shit gets really real here at this point.
It's about to catch up with him.
He slapped around, threw his girlfriend down, which is horrible, don't get me wrong, but I mean, that's that. He's had a prostitute run in. He's not paying his child support. He's just a scumbag at this point, right? This is when he crosses the line from scumbag to...
piece of shit.
Predator and monster here. There's a call. Well, first of all, this happens first. There's a report of suspicious activity in early February 1998 involving Meggett, but no arrests are made in this particular case. A 20-year-old female who knew him as, quote, Mike. Remember the name Mike.
That's fascinating.
He likes the name Mike.
That's
and he
fascinating.
uses it often. Only with young women. It's super weird.
That's an interesting
weird.
Choice.
Mike.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Mike Meggett. I don't know if he used his last name, but Mike. And he brought her over to her house and gave her a bunch of alcohol. He tried to kiss her and put his hand down her pants, and she resisted and wanted to leave. And Meggett got angry and wouldn't give her a ride home. The cops were called. And basically the cops just came out and said, all right, you drunken fucking idiots. We'll take the girl home. You get your stupid ass back in the house, and we're calling it a night.
Stop trying to finger people.
Yeah, but it was a report taken, and it's in there. And so
nice.
Later on in the month...
And she learned that his name's Dave.
And later, she's going to learn that's not Mike, that's Dave. This is in Toronto. Because also in Toronto, February 27th, 1998, Dave is arrested in Toronto for sexual assault and robbery.
Oh, my God.
Shit's getting real now. Those are charges.
What's he doing in Toronto?
He is at a guy named Steve Brannan's bachelor party. Steve Brannan is a practice squad player who was with the Giants, the Patriots, basically everywhere that Parcells and Meggett were. And he also played for one of the Canadian teams, and he was a member of the Barcelona Dragons at this point.
Those goddamn Dragons.
Those damn Dragons. Eric Naposki, this fucking idiot. So, anyway, they have a hearing on the afternoon of the 27th of February, and they're released on this Friday afternoon. They have a court date set for March 13th. Now, let's get into what happened here. Because it is interesting. He's dipping his toe in the water here. They're at the Royal Oak Hotel, which is a nice hotel, waterfront deal. At about 1 a.m., Brannan's got this bachelor party going on. He brings in a 33-year-old escort named Betty Huron. Now, Brannan and Huron have done this before. This is like his regular hooker that he calls when he's there. And so they know each other. They've dealt with each other many times and all this. So they're basically... he called her in to share her with Dave. That's the point, right? They're going to have a three-way, and they're going to bang the shit out of this hooker. It's disgusting, right?
They're going to run a train on a hooker.
On a hooker. So... Brannan and Huron were in the room. Meggett walked in, saw Huron, and said, quote, "It's party time," and threw down $480 in cash.
Is that enough for a suck and fuck?
His children could have desperately used. There's kids out there just with no Cheerios and an empty box going, $480.
But it's party time in Canada.
Party time. So Dave and Brannan took turns, apparently, back and forth, and she said they were very, very rough with her.
I can imagine.
They were aggressive. And at some point, Meggett's condom breaks. And she tells him to stop, because she's a hooker, and that's what hookers do. Right. They're like, hey, I guess this is my vehicle here. Not going to let you pour sugar in my gas tank. Sorry, honey. Put a condom on, sweetheart. So he laughed at her and kept going. So she kept trying to stop. At this point, she says that Meggett said, this is amazing, quote, "Meggett said the Patriots test him for AIDS all the time, and I wouldn't catch anything. He had a real attitude, like he was something special because he's a football player that gets tested."
Wow.
Which is ridiculous. So he's like, "Nah, I'm good."
That's not what I'm talking about, Mr. Meggett.
No. Sugar in the gas tank.
I'm talking about, I don't want a kid.
No kid
that pulls me out the game for 9 months.
Exactly, and you're not going to pay for it. We've established that. I've looked at the court records. So she continues to resist, so Brannan holds her arms down.
Oh,
so this shit's getting. This is like
it's already a rape.
This is bad here.
Yeah.
Kieran said, "quote I couldn't believe Steve wasn't stopping him. He was supposed to be my friend."
You've got friends as a hooker?
You're a prostitute.
Yeah.
If people are paying,
there are no friends.
No. If you were friends, he wouldn't offer to pay you for sex, and you wouldn't want money for it. That's not how friendship works. Either you don't have sex with someone, or you do for free. That's friendship.
And you don't mix business and friendships ever.
No. So anyway, she wiggles free out of this before Dave has a chance to finish.
Yeah.
And she runs into the bathroom and clean up. She emerges from the bathroom to find Meggett rifling through her pockets of her coat.
Wow.
Looking for his money back.
Yeah.
He wants his money back. She tries to stop him. Meggett starts slapping her in the face now at this point.
Yeah, because there's no Yelp for hookers.
There's no Yelp for hookers, and no Yelp for NFL players who get hookers, apparently. They need like an Uber that goes both ways for that, you know? That's how that works. Overseas, I don't know if you have Uber, but sorry, it's a ride-sharing thing over here. Anyway, she says, of the slaps, like her description of it, God help me for laughing at this, but I don't know why I had to laugh at this. She says, quote, from one side of my ear to the other, boom, boom, boom. And Steve is just standing there. That's when the tears started. He's paintbrushing her like Bobby the Brain Heenan used to talk about. I'll paintbrush that guy back. What a fucking asshole.
He's painting the fence on her face.
He doesn't want to use a condom with a hooker. Yeah. He's trying to steal his money back after he raped her, which, Jesus, you at least give her the fucking money, you jackass. And now he's paintbrushing her on top of it. This is horrible. And she's still looking at Steve for help at this point. That's the other thing.
And he's standing there with his arms crossed going, you deserve this.
That's when the tears started. She said, and Steve is just standing there. I think that's what she was upset about. Like, he won't help me.
The tears started then? I would have been crying in the bathroom when I was like, my friend just held me down to get raped.
That probably happens when you're a prostitute. I'm not sure. I don't know the life of a prostitute, but I assume that's like a...
She's probably just standing in the bathroom washing up going, again, this happened again.
Still looking at Steve for help here, which that's the thing where I'm like, Steve's out of the picture.
Steve called his NFL buddy to come have sex with you.
Steve held you down.
He's a piece of shit, too.
Steve's a piece of shit. Don't expect anything from Steve, right? So she flees the room. Huron flees the room and was spotted by other hotel guests, crying hysterically, their clothes half on, trying to look for her money. They call the police. She's taken to the hospital. She's given a quadruple dose of the morning after pill. She's tested for STDs, the whole deal, which she may or may not have had anyway because she's a goddamn hooker. So anyway, meanwhile, the boys, they go out drinking. They're like, oh, prostitution time's over. Let's go get some drinks.
Let's go find some chicks and so we can at least the blue balls they must have been going through too. Must have been insanity.
Maybe they jerked each other off, these two idiots. That wouldn't surprise me. Hey, man, we're teammates.
Listen, you grab a hold of this one, I'll grab a hold of that one.
We're teammates, man. Let's help each other out.
I've seen it before in the locker room, remember?
Remember when I asked you to hold the tackling dummy? Remember that? Well, it was the same thing. So Meggett's arrested at the bar, and he was...
Hold my tackle dummy.
Stand behind it. So he's worried. He told the cops he was worried the handcuffs were going to scratch his watch. Like, hey, man, you're scratching my watch.
Take it easy. This watch is worth more than that hooker.
Oh, take it easy, man. What's going on here? So this whole thing is just a fucking disaster, basically. She's at the hospital, minor injuries, the whole deal.
Yeah.
He hires Alan D. Gold.
Sounds fucking high-powered.
He is extremely high-powered and silver and haired and white, and it's the best they have to offer, basically. He says that Dave will plead not guilty and that it was a quote, incident of consensual sex.
Yeesh.
And so that's that, which, whatever. It's apparently he's Canada's premier defense attorney at the time, this guy, which you would expect.
Yep.
His hair has got to be as silver as shit, this man. I mean, how many
Absolutely.
Toronto Argonauts has he freed from the pokey? They begin a smear campaign against Huron at this point.
That's so sad.
Dave does this. When women come forward, he will try to actively...
assassinate their character.
Everything, get their names in the press, that sort of thing. He has no scruples at all. This is 9 days after the arrest. An article appears in the Herald headlined, quote, Meggett accuser evicted for non-payment in 95.
What?
They're bringing up her rental history on the front page of the paper because she got held down and raped by two football players.
You know why she's got no payment? Is because guys rape her and then steal her
steal
money.
the money back. Yeah, the landlord should come here. Instead, the landlord is in this article saying horrible shit about her. The ex-landlord says, quote, she's a liar and an admitted call girl. She would say she had the money, then she wouldn't give it to us. That sounds very, like, foreign. That's a man, like, she said she had money, then not give to us. You know what I mean? Very angry.
Yeah.
I told her I'd not fix furnace, you pay rent on time.
You'll have no hot water.
Yeah, or like some guy that was in the Israeli army or something, and he just doesn't care. I don't care.
And then he got out of the country to go run a fucking apartment complex somewhere. He's like, fuck it.
Toronto apartment complex, I find my home. You pay rent, I talk up to paper if you don't.
I live free and enforce rent.
Think about this guy, too. This is like his dream. He's been talking about her for this is 3 years ago. He's like, the hooker that would not pay rent, she fuck guys in the apartment, leave semen all over ceiling. And then she's like, find the press come knocking. They're like, her? She's horrible.
I have so much to say.
She is liar. She would tell me I have the money, then she would not give to us. Like, I totally picture.
You sound like the Iron Sheik. She is liar.
She is liar. I
fuck her ass.
I took out all the A's and those. I just taking all. She said she have money, then not give to us.
I put her in camel clutch.
There's no proof this man is born anywhere outside of Toronto.
I have no idea. He may be French-Canadian. We're just ruining
that
him.
Could be possible, too. But I want to picture him as an angry ex-Israeli
Armenian
commando.
with no hair up top, like 7 hairs over the top of his head.
And hair just firing out of his shirt collar, just from his back, his neck.
Reeking of cigars.
Very angry man. He looks like Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, basically, is what I got him looking like here.
Looks like...
That's what he looks like.
That V-neck shirt with his hair.
She says she have money, then she not give to us. She say, she call girl, she liar. She say, you have my money, then she not give to us. We sit around, we go, she come with money, 8 o'clock. She not show up.
She did not get security back. No security deposit. You see what she did to carpet?
Carpet destroyed. Destroyed.
It was all sticky.
Oh, it's all sticky. I know what that is. I'm not stupid.
It's so fun.
I was in the Israeli army.
Okay,
so this poor girl, anyway, that's being... We're making fun of him, not her, so that's fine.
And they're just throwing this shit in the press.
So, yeah, this is a mess. I mean, this poor woman's in this whole thing. Begins, it's supposed to take place, I believe, March 13th. This is what's supposed to start. It gets delayed till May 4th.
Yeah.
And then June 24th.
I'm sorry.
I know, you're still thinking about Khalid Sheikh Mohammed.
I can't get his fucking face out of my head.
I can just picture him like sawing lamb off of a giant spit.
Making a gyro as they're interviewing him.
Exactly. I make for you is good. I make shawarma, good shawarma for you. Here, you take. Don't say you have money, then no give to me. I tell the paper. Go right to the paper.
I make for you.
I make for you. Oh God. Anybody who is a falafel-making Middle Eastern is going to hate us. I'm so sorry. I can't stop laughing. This is ridiculous. So, okay. Glad we're having fun here. June 24th, 1998. It was serious. There's rape on the table, Jimmy. Rape on the table.
Well, you shouldn't have said I make for you.
Oh, God, that's awful. So charges are withdrawn by prosecutors.
What?
At this point, withdrawn. Lack of evidence. It's basically he said, she said.
They all can't stop laughing. That's why.
They can't stop laughing because they talked to the landlord. But basically, a lot of his things are he said, she said. He doesn't say, like, I didn't have sex with her. He'll be like, yeah, it was consensual. And then they're like, it's he said, she said. He's a famous guy.
He sets it right up to that cusp, right to that edge, to where they just have to go, look. Yeah. We got no proof.
And the prosecutors in this case were like, honestly, she's a call girl. I mean, so basically the jury right away is going to say,
yeah, that's already it ruins anything she's about to say.
Absolutely.
Which is crazy to me that profession. I mean, I get it, but it's weird that profession, no matter what you say, it's just taken with a grain of salt. It's like,
and what she was doing was actually legal at this point in Canada.
Really?
I'm not sure if it still is, but at this point, this particular form of escorting was actually legal. So this was not like she was like a dirty hooker that was going to be arrested. So she wasn't a street hooker. She was called to a hotel by a professional football player and paid $480.
Yeah.
So she's not like getting a giving $40 half and halves on the curb like 1990 Baltimore here.
Right.
So now we have some fun. Now we'll get some descriptions from his girlfriends.
Awesome.
Meggett has a lot of girlfriends, as you might imagine.
Clearly.
They all love him.
Really?
They all love him. During this whole thing, one of his girlfriends came to his defense in the media and and was like, no, you don't know Dave. One described how romantic he was, said that he left a trail of rose petals one time up his house, an elaborate thing that said follow, and then you'd find more, and it said the way, and then there was more to my heart with rose petals. God. You cheese dick little asshole.
Fucking what?
You little cock.
You're ruining it for men everywhere, you asshole.
Another described him bringing a lobster dinner to her work cafeteria for Valentine's Day and like big bouquets of flowers and all that.
I wish she would have hit him with it.
Oh, I know. Take this.
Yeah, get away from me with the shellfish. I have an allergy.
I don't know if he raped her, though. Probably not. One of the exes says of him, this is an amazing quote here, by the way, quote, he was just a nice guy. He was sweet. He was so romantic. He was like the perfect guy. Except he was a total liar. If you told him the sky was blue, he'd say it was green. He made you fall in love with him, and then it was too late when the bad things came to light. She's not good at analogies, by the way. That is not lying.
Yeah.
He might be colorblind at that point. If he might go, looks green to me.
Right.
Blue looks purple to me. My eyes are fucked up like that, so I don't know.
But he's the perfect guy, except he lies.
Except he's a total liar.
He's the guy. He's a guy then. He's just he's a guy.
Yeah, but worse
But
than
he's
most.
got fucking motivation of rape.
Absolutely.
You know, he just wants to get in your gash. That's it.
And the mother of one of his kids here who sued him the year before, this is one of the, because he got sued multiple times, this is the lady from the year before who sued him, says of the rape case, quote, it doesn't sound like him at all. But then he wouldn't be the first athlete that was ever taken advantage of. There are a million people out there who will say something to get a piece of someone's fame. So this is his ex-girlfriends are saying like, oh yeah, she's totally trying to play him, and she's a raped hooker.
That sounds like women, though, that they have motivation of child support, and if that hooker gets any money out of him, then that's money out of their kids' mouths. That's what that sounds like to me.
I'm sure, too. Yeah, they're coming in, and I'm sure, too, he was probably calling all these women that he's still in good relationships with and saying, hey, talk to this one. The reporter's going to call you. Say some good shit about me.
Say some good shit about me, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to pay child support.
Not only that, too, he's got a great defense attorney that is, puppeting all of this shit.
Absolutely.
So the guy knows what he's doing here.
Fucking gold.
At this point, though, 1998, Dave's released by the Patriots. They are not having this shit. That is Bob Kraft's policy, apparently, is the no violence toward women thing.
And not just that, it's just you don't fuck up.
No, on the Patriots
in Bob Kraft's organization, you do not fuck up or you're out of here.
They all said it was his mantra, basically. If you hit women or do anything bad to women, you're cut, basically.
Good for him.
So
he knows how to treat women.
Yeah, it's good shit. Head coach Pete Carroll, whose hair is a little silver, but not quite in this quote, but he wanted to be nice to him here. Pete Carroll, the current coach of the Seattle Seahawks, at the time he took over for Bill Parcells in a sinking New England ship. He was fired pretty quickly after that. Belichick took over. He's
then
still
he went to cheat at USC and sink that shit. Yeah. And then he ran off to Seattle.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, ran off to Seattle when all that started to unfold.
So head coach Pete Carroll says, quote, when that incident happened, it was so egregious. And I liked David. You couldn't help liking him. If you see a pattern developing at some point, you have to decide if that pattern is taking you down the wrong road. We can't decide behavior, but we can decide whether we want somebody to be a part of what we're doing. In other words, get the fuck out of here, you little rapist.
Head on down the road, and I'll say some fairly decent shit about you in the press.
Yeah. So, I mean, all this is going on. This is active, and this was all just dismissed. This is very big in the press. This was just a sleazy, one of those things. It was, tabloidy.
Right.
And, but the Jets, guess who their head coach is?
Oh, no, Bill went there.
Bill Parcells is there.
Oh,
Bill Parcells, at about, I think it's week 11, I think he waits to sign him till. Yeah. Bill Parcells says, I got to have this little rapist. He's my guy.
We're 6-5 right now. We're 5-6. We needed somebody that can punt return.
This is, and he's like, it's barely cleared up. This case, and he's like, I'll take him. It's
this
fine.
Is 99?
Don't care. 98. The 98 season. It's unreal. I mean, Bill Parcells doesn't give a shit.
Doesn't care.
He doesn't care. He would have got Bruno DeSouza and signed him too if he was good. He didn't give a fuck. Yeah, what? Fed what to your who? I don't care. Sign him up.
Can you run?
Episode 5, Bruno DeSouza. You can check that out. The horrors of Bruno DeSouza. He was a horrible person. Just listen to it because it's horrible. Anyway. March 1999, Dave retires at this point. No one wants him.
That's it.
Basically, no one wants him. Plus, he's a guy, he had 4.340 time when he came out. He ran a 4.340, which is extremely fast, extremely quick, and he needs that quickness to stay alive in the NFL. So you lose a half a step at 5'7", 180, you're out.
And that NFL is not today's NFL.
No, they
back
take your
then,
head off.
you could get laid the fuck out. If that quarterback hung one over the middle
you're dead.
on a screen pass or some shit,
they didn't have
it's
to wait
over.
for you to come down.
No.
They could hit you in the
They
head.
can blast you right when your hands touch that ball.
Didn't matter.
Yep.
So he lasted that long. He retires, like I said, NFL's all-time punt return leader in yards.
Wow.
So that's great and all.
Yeah.
So you'd think, okay, maybe he was just juiced up from playing.
Yeah.
Right? That happens. Guys get real aggressive when they play.
A little roid rage.
Yeah, he's just real,
comes out when you're fucking.
Yeah, comes out. He's got to get
comes
it
out when you're naked and vulnerable.
Exactly. Prosecutors at this point, they dropped the rape charge on him for the Toronto thing.
Really?
They dropped the rape charge. This is what ends up happening. They drop the rape charge, but they proceed with the assault and theft charges. Okay. So they say, yeah, you paintbrushed her. She went to the hospital.
Yeah.
You stole her money. Right. That's a legal transaction, whatever. This trial ends in a hung jury.
Jesus.
Hung jury. Yeah, that's why they dropped the rape charge like we were discussing before. But yeah, hung jury on this trial. They can't decide. Prosecutors declined to retry. They don't even want to retry it.
So it's scot-free.
Citing, quote, limited resources.
Yeesh.
They said, we don't have money to dick with American football players raping hookers. Not on our radar.
Go back to your own country.
Yeah, well, she's a prostitute. You don't even live here. Fuck out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. When asked why there's no retrial, the prosecutor, Calvin Barry, said, quote, there were some inconsistencies in the complainant's testimony. It wouldn't have been a clear-cut prosecution. And if you come to court with unclean hands, it's difficult. Some jurors go, quote, she's a big girl. She should have known what she was getting into.
Jesus.
You can't say that now, by the way. In 2016, a prosecutor could not say that.
Absolutely not.
At all.
No.
That's not allowed to be said.
I don't think they could.
Unclean hands?
Yeah, you couldn't even say that about Kobe Bryant's accuser.
No. Unclean hands
That's
is
crazy.
Really some coded, shitty language there. For she's a hooker. If you would have just said, she's a hooker, so people aren't going to take her seriously, I would have respected that more.
She should have known.
He said that very shitty.
That's part of the profession.
Yeah, so he gets out of this. That's April 2000. That was a 2-year thing because it kept getting delayed. Now, so we come to 2001. Dave is in South Carolina now.
Mm-hmm. He goes back home.
He goes back home, not to live here. He's just hanging out at this point.
All right.
He is arrested again for rape, assault, and kidnapping this time. Let's up the ante a little bit for this little shit. He's accused of raping a 26-year-old girl named Janine Loveland. Now, let's get into this story because this story is deep. There's a great article. It was on SB Nation, and it's just extremely detailed about Dave Meggett. And a lot of this story I got out of that because it was so detailed. It was better than anything. They went so in depth with this. It was crazy. She was this girl. Let's get into Janine first. She was new to the area. She worked at a jewelry store. She just moved to Charleston. She went to a Market Street bar called Mitchell's this night on June 30th, 2001 with a friend. They meet Dave and his friend at the bar, and they were like salsa dancing, and the friend, actually, Janine's friend, was the one talking to Dave. She was talking to the friend, and they were just kind of talking back and forth, and everybody was talking. At one point, Dave told the friend that he used to play in the NFL because she was a teacher, and so he said, I'd love to come down and talk to the kids or whatever, and that would be fun. And so they were like, oh, what a great guy.
Yeah.
And they're all dancing.
I'll come to talk to those kids because I don't talk to my own.
I don't talk to my own, but other people's. Shit, it's party time. So I make for you. Yeah. So Meggett begins buying drinks for the girls and all that shit. He's trying to just get in with this group here. Loveland said she left her drink unattended while she danced and would come back and drink it.
Bad idea.
Suddenly she became unbalanced and dizzy.
Yeesh.
Not good.
No rose petals.
No rose petal. No follow the way to my heart here. This is follow the way to my rape fan.
Yeah. Follow the way to your vag, and it's through this GHB.
It's not cool, man. Bartender cuts her off. Patrons said her speech was, quote, unintelligible. So she's
drugged.
She's drugged. Yeah. She's not a lightweight, this Janine. She's not a girl.
She can handle her booze.
Yeah, we'll get into her past here. She's a tiny girl, but an experienced drinker. Yep. She has had a hard life. She moved from Pennsylvania to Ocean City, Maryland when she was 18 and worked the carnival games at the shore.
Oh, God.
She left home at 18 to be a fucking carny.
Eesh.
So she's been through some shit.
Yeah.
She's been fucked on some hay before.
Yeah, she's running the tilt-a-whirl.
While the bearded lady fucking diddled herself and
God.
She was a heroin and cocaine user while she was on the shore here. Moved to Charleston to start over and try to get away from drugs, basically, and her people she was hanging out. She's hanging out with carnies.
Yeah.
She's like, I gotta get away from these fucking carnies.
These people are crazy.
Yeah, these people are carnival workers.
Right.
They're horrible people.
They're just it's a weird breed.
Yeah.
I was going to say dying breed. But
No, they're like comics without talent.
That would be amazing.
They're like road comics with no talent, basically. They're like, if there was an open mic road circuit, that would be these guys, just the craziest.
And they probably have worse jokes.
Absolutely. I know a carny one time.
Really?
My friend, there was this carnival that came through.
Yeah.
This little, like one of those parking lot carnivals. A little sidetrack here, guys. And my friend who lived right there, who didn't have the best home life at all, really, invited this carny guy to stay at his house and live in his basement. And so the carnival left and he stayed. And the guy, we called him Satanic Bill because
Satanic Bill found a house.
Bill was like satanic. Anyway, they end up doing acid one night and robbing a concession stand of a Little League field and getting busted with like garbage bags full of candy and all this shit.
You get the Laffy Taffy.
And Satanic Bill was like 25 years old and we were all like 16. And a bunch of my friends got probation and Satanic Bill had to go to prison for a year because he had a record, of course, because he's a fucking carny.
He's Satanic Bill.
And he sent letters to my friend saying he was going to kill him because he told on him.
Wow.
It was amazing. And then he got out of jail. He's like, never mind, I'm not going to kill you. And he came and lived at his house again. Unreal, right? Okay. Sorry. That's a carny.
Holy shit.
People, I don't know if other countries have carnivals that come through and have these weird traveling people.
Keep the fuck away from them.
Don't invite a carny into your house.
Never.
But this girl, it's not her fault, we'll say. She started using drugs by the time she was 13. She was in rehab by 16.
Fuck.
She was molested from the ages of 5 to 10. Just a terrible
life. Why not?
Life. Yeah,
Pack for that in, too.
A terrible life, this poor girl, and it's about to get worse here. It's about to get worse because she's encountered our pal Dave.
And now she has GHB running through her veins in a bar, and she can't talk, and she's off balance.
Absolutely. She says that she had to have been drugged. She said, this is years later, they interviewed her, and she said, to this day, quote, to this day, I've never gone from slightly tipsy to completely falling down.
Yeah.
She says at this point, her memories became just flashes.
Yep.
She got
that sounds like it.
Yeah.
Those are all the symptoms,
That's the
babe.
symptoms, babe. And also a dick coming at you, which is going to be a symptom she's got soon coming out. She stumbles out of the bar, stumbles into like a doorway next door to the bar. Now, she had met an older couple a couple days before at this bar, and they were trying to help her, and they offered to get her a cab to go home, and she would not give them her address. She should have given them her address.
That would have saved her life.
Instead, Meggett comes out.
Oh, no.
And starts kind of leading her down the block and kind of picks her up. Like, if you're walking arm in arm next to someone, imagine if you just pick them up and their feet aren't on the ground, like a Weekend at Bernie's thing. That's what he did, and just kind of floated her down the street.
Jesus.
She tried to like push him off her, and he just cinched it up, and like her feet were dragging on the ground type of thing. Like it was really bad. He told her before they got to the car while he's carrying her, her quote was, well, might as well make this in their own words, because Meggett doesn't talk either. He's not a talker, Dave. And he even refuses to make statements in courts. Not a talker.
A few words.
We'll use this as his in their own words, because it's horrible. Quote, time for you to pay up, bitch. Unquote.
Oh, my God.
That's what he said. And she said he didn't say bitch in a mean way. Just matter of fact, like, oh, time for you to pay up, bitch. Like, I don't know. Like the waiter came over and went, here you go, bitch. Here's your check. Thanks for coming in. Like, that's how she said it. Like, it was like very like, no. Like, that was her name. Like, hey,
come on, bitch.
Janine, let's go. Hey, time for you to pay up, Janine. So after the bitch thing, she said, quote, her quote is, quote, that's when I realized, and pardon my French, but holy shit, this is about to go down. You don't have to say pardon your French if you're discussing him and you're about to be raped. Yeah. You can go ahead and say however you want to
describe that. When a guy just told you time to pay up, bitch, I think
shit is warranted.
Yeah.
At least. Or anything,
I think all bets are off, darling. You can say whatever you want.
And she called it, quote, the wrong place, wrong time.
No.
That's anywhere around Dave Meggett if you have a vagina. That's period.
How about Dave was in the wrong place at the wrong time?
Anywhere around any female is the wrong place for this asshole. He takes her over down the street. It was like, down the block he carried her. Yeah. Stuffs her into his Porsche. Wow. Okay, stuffs her in the front seat of the Porsche. He's like taking her.
He's about to drive.
Yeah, I'm taking her with me. Yep. That's all. Drives to an unknown location to her. She doesn't know where she's going. She's out of it. No memories, flashes. Takes her out of the car. She doesn't know where she is at this point, but she remembers getting her, and this is very important, guys, getting her left arm pinned behind her back with his left arm. So he gets on top of her. No, he gets on top of her. She's on her back. He's on top of her. He takes his left arm, grabs her left arm, and pulls it. So that way he's got a lot of leverage because he's coming from the other side.
Oh, I got you.
She can't get out of it. And that's when then he rapes the girl like that.
Wow.
So he says she doesn't know where she was. She just remembers seeing wood beams in the ceiling. She was like, am I at a gazebo? What the fuck is going on here? Like, this girl is a horrible, horrible description of this whole thing. So remember the pinning. It's like it's going to be the dish towel of this episode.
He pulls it underneath her back?
Yes, under her back from the other side.
Ouch.
Think about that. Yeah, that's
an uncomfortable fuck.
A position where if you try to move, you're going to yank your shoulder out of the socket.
You're not going anywhere.
He's got you locked.
Yeah.
And he's strong, too.
Yeah.
And she's tiny. This girl is tiny. That's the other thing. Very small girl. So when he finishes, he picks her back up, puts her back in the Porsche, like she's luggage now at this point. Just pick the bag up and throw it in there.
Take my toiletry bag with me.
Unreal. She reaches out. He goes to slam the door. She reaches out to stop the door from closing and catches her hand in the door, too, now.
Oh, my God.
This causes permanent nerve damage that she still has. Her hand is all fucked up. Yeah, it's apparently...
He slammed her hand in a fucking door.
Fucking door. I don't know if he saw her hand. I don't think he cared either way. He drove.
With her hand still in the door?
Yes. That's the other thing.
Oh, my God.
She's saying she's only got her left hand at this point, and her right hand is killing her, obviously. Yeah. And she's trying to find the door locks because at this point she said that she thought she was going to die. Yeah. She thought, he's taking me to kill me. I got to get out of here. I got to escape. And her life, the way it's been, she's got a survival mechanism to her.
She's got a fight or flight thing.
Exactly. Right. Like, I got to get out of here. This is bad shit.
This is already a bad situation.
So if only that would have kicked in when he met her.
Right. But when he said, "Hi, I'm Dave Meggett."
But he's a master fucking predator, man. He is a predator.
Yep.
And he knows. This is the other thing. Every woman he goes after, it's not just some like school teacher like Tom Paine was just picking people off the street, some school teacher with it was just a nice lady. They're all people with problems. These predators have a sixth sense and they can sense victims.
They can sense that just destroyed person.
They know it. They can sense a victim. It's unreal. I don't know what psychological horrible thing in the human brain can do that, but some people have it, and he apparently does. So she waits for a red light, and she figured out that the door locks in the Porsche are in the center console. So she reaches over, unlocks the door with her left hand, then reaches across to get the door thing, opens the door. The car hasn't stopped yet. They're approaching a red light. So she said she had taken gymnastics as a kid and remembered to tuck and roll.
Wow.
She tucks and roll, pops up to her feet, and sees two guys that she describes as, quote, transient types.
Perfect. She's going to get saved by bums.
Yeah, a guy named Kenneth Brown and Sylvester Magwood, who sound like hobos.
Yeah.
They sound like
railway riders.
Like they have bindles with beans in it at the
Magwood?
end.
Jesus.
Magwood and Kenneth Brown. Brown claims at this point he has had between 12 and 15 beers this evening. Yeah. So they're just a couple old winos running around.
And he's not even drunk yet.
No, and this is the crazy part is like she runs and she pops out of this Porsche. There's a goddamn Porsche, and this is a shit neighborhood too that they end up in. She runs up to them screaming, quote, "Help me, I've just been fucked and I didn't ask for it. Please say you're not going to hurt me. Am I safe? Please say I'm safe." So she's just freaking out, walking up to anyone who is there, and she's like still out of it too, she said. She's just trying to put words
fucked
together.
And I didn't ask for it.
Please help me. Like, I feel horrible for this girl.
Can't feel my right hand.
And my right hand is destroyed. Right. So these are two old winos that just saw a white girl leap out of a moving Porsche in a black neighborhood. They were like, "What the fuck?" Like literally, they were like, like in like an old like an old sitcom. Yeah. Like when there'd be like a hobo in an alley, and like he'd see something crazy, like in Bewitched, like she'd disappear, and he'd like look at the bottle and rub his eyes, and then throw the bottle down.
Swig.
Yeah, throw the bottle down. Like, holy shit, that's what's happening here. They're like, "No, this isn't a white girl jumping out of a Porsche." So Meggett yells, "Get back in the car," from in there, and then speeds off after like 2 seconds.
Yeesh.
The hobos call 911. I like how they call them tramps in the UK.
Yeah.
Let's call it the tramps call 911. She goes to the hospital, gets the Dave Meggett special, the rape kit, the morning after pill, the whole deal. It's the Meggett. They go, the Meggett. Okay, she's in for a Meggett.
You've had a suck and fuck. We're going to give you another combo.
She's in for the Meggett, guys. Come on, let her in. We have the Meggett room. It's set aside. We've been
it's in
expecting
the Meggett wing.
The Meggett wing.
You can be with the others.
Watch out for the kids running around. There's a lot of them.
Grab a cot with the others.
Grab a cot with the others. Now, she says she feels pressured by the cops And here's also, this is not a person who probably likes dealing with cops.
Yeah, no.
This is a runaway, a drug addict since 13.
They haven't saved her entire life. Why are they going to save her now?
Cocaine, heroin. She's probably not a girl who's like, oh, the cops will help me. Everything's going to be fine. So she feels pressured by the cops and accidentally gives the description of Dave's friend that she talked to at first. Because she said she's still kind of in and out of it.
Yeah.
She says about this with the cop, she says, quote, you're asked so much stuff and you're grasping at everything and you're in a state of shock and I'm trying to give them what I knew at the time, which is understandable, honestly. Several other people, though, luckily identified Meggett because they went back to the bar, the bouncer, the patrons, everybody identified Meggett. So
the guy with that ring.
They said, never mind her description. She's on drugs, basically.
It's the guy with that giant ring.
The giant shiny ring with the giants
with
on
the
it.
word giants down the side of it.
So Loveland gets home from the hospital and sees on TV that Meggett's arrested. They show it. It's a big local story. It's on the news. There's his picture. And she says, holy shit, that's him. That's the guy.
Right.
There he is. So she's happy about that, obviously. But she also hears who he is and that he's famous and that he's had other things before and they got dismissed and that shit gets pushed under the rug and he's got lawyers. And she says, quote, why can't anything be normal in my life? Couldn't I have just been raped by an average person? This poor fucking girl, man.
She's like, I can't catch a break. At first, I get raped, I get to the cops, and try to get some sort of justice. And it happens to be a guy that nobody gets justice
He's
from.
Teflon rapist. The Teflon Dong is what we should call this guy. Not the Teflon Don. The Teflon Don is what they called John Gotti.
Yeah.
He's the Teflon Dong.
Yeah.
This guy. It slides right off
This
him.
dick is Teflon.
So, I mean, I feel so bad for this girl. She's had the worst life since age 5 and probably before, and all these horrible things, and now she's like, she doesn't even ask to not be raped. She's just like, I just be raped by somebody normal that can be prosecuted.
If you're going to hurt me, at least just make it somebody that can get caught.
South Carolina law states that, this is ridiculous, by the way, this law. This is probably the stupidest fucking law I've ever heard in my life. South Carolina law states that an inebriated victim only allows for third-degree sexual assault and 10 years. Without the drugging, it could be first degree in 30 years. But if you drug a girl, then it's a different crime because then you're just like raping an unconscious girl, which is a different...
That's fucked up.
They parse that. So basically, if you're in South Carolina and you want to rape somebody, if you drug them, it's 20 less years.
Right.
Yeah, make sure to drug them, basically. That's what you're telling everybody. Hey,
at least Cosby them, and then it's not as big of a deal.
It's fucking ridiculous. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
That's even more just vicious.
That might be the dumbest law in the history of laws that I've ever heard.
That's like saying if you murder somebody... you can't. You got to punch them up first. You got to beat the shit out of them.
You got to make sure to dismember the body.
Right.
It's only this much. It's like no. Well, that would be post. Never mind. I'm as bad as analogies tonight. Analogies tonight is our.
You got to knock the shit out of them and then shoot them. You can't just shoot them.
No.
And then we'll give you 20 less years.
Absolutely.
What the fuck?
It's insanity, man. So. The misidentification and the lack of her original misidentification turns out to be a big deal, of course, because he hires a great defense attorney, who we'll get into in a second here. Lack of clear memory on her part also makes it difficult because she's saying, I remember this, then that, then flashes, and they're like,
that Porsche is a big detail, though.
It's a big detail.
That's a big deal because that's his goddamn car.
He's got an ace in the hole here because 2 weeks later, out of nowhere, everybody starts changing their stories.
Oh, no.
All these he's gotten to everybody. And it's obvious because they're complete opposite statements of their original statements.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. Kenneth Brown, hobo number 1, 12 to 15 beers here.
Oh, he got another 12 to 15 on Mr. Meggett.
Yep. Changes his story from his original to a completely new version. His new account says that the car, this is from the police report, the car came to a stop and she just got out. Quote, the girl never complained that she had been assaulted in any way. Her dress was not torn or even messed up. She never complained that the driver of the Porsche raped her or physically forced her to do anything. There was nothing unusual about her appearance. I would say I thought she was drinking, but I certainly didn't think she was intoxicated. Wow. That's his new
story?
Statement now.
Meanwhile, she can't even think straight in the police station, but she wasn't drunk then.
No, she can't think straight. They saw her stumbling. The couple said, can we get you a cab because you're literally falling into the streets here. The bar doorman changed his story too. He at 2:30 in the morning, the night that all this happened, he said that it looked like he was kind of carrying her off, which he took as like a chivalrous thing, like, oh, I'll take her home. You know what I mean?
Boy.
Like, whatever. He didn't think Dave Meggett's going to go raping people.
I assumed there was some rose petals leading to an upstairs bedroom.
I said, he's got a lot of punt return yardage. I'm going to let him handle this. Yeah. It's okay. 2 weeks later, he changes his story, too. Both these sound so contrived. These sound like the defense attorney wrote them.
Yeah.
Like, this is what we need you to say. Yeah. Exactly.
Say it exactly this word for word.
Her dress wasn't torn in any way. I thought maybe she had some drinks, but I certainly didn't think she was intoxicated. Like, what hobo talks like that?
What hobo knows the word certainly?
I certainly did. You got to be kidding me. So... this guy, the doorman here, says, quote, they held hands when they walked by me. Nothing happened that seemed inappropriate or out of the ordinary. Mr. Meggett did not grab or hold her in any improper way. Mr. Meggett appeared to be sober, friendly, and courteous. He did not do anything to raise concern or suspicion.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's terrible.
They just completely...
What a dick.
Unreal, right? I don't know if they paid these people off or...
But why change to that story? That's fucking insanity.
Why not just change to, I don't really remember.
Yeah.
It seemed fine. I don't know.
Listen, it's been a month.
That's the best possible thing
that
they could... He did not do anything to raise concern or suspicion. Like, it's no question.
Concern or suspicion. That is... somebody wrote
dismissal.
That for you, Mr. Barman. Mr. Doorman.
Yeah, hobos and bouncers are talking like legal scholars now. You got to be kidding me. Meggett said his version of it was, and this is just pathetic. This is he's a college graduate.
Right.
He's been around the world.
Yeah.
He could come up with something better than this. This is sad. He said he was driving Loveland home in his Porsche, and while he was shifting gears, she said, quote, I like how you shift your gears. I'd like to see your gear shift. No woman has ever said that.
No.
All right, I'd like to see your other gear shift. Sorry. No woman has ever said that shit outside of a 70s porno.
This is why Dave doesn't talk.
This is the shit he comes up with.
That's a horrible thing to say.
He just says this, and he breaks down and says the Bible gave him a moral epiphany before he's raping people. So he said they had sex in the car because she wanted to see his other gear shift. Ridiculous. He said you didn't
fuck her in a Porsche, sir. No way you had sex with her in a Porsche.
She's tiny, so it's possible.
It's not possible. No. You're a grown adult. If you're more than 8, you can't have sex in a Porsche. It was
uncomfortable either way. So
that sounded horrible. Move on.
He said that she was a little drunk, but quote, okay. She thought,
Jesus.
Good to go. In other words, legal.
She was a spinner.
Legal clarification, quote, good to go.
Good to go.
That's it, right there. Says he pulled over to get directions from the hobos here.
Because they know where they're going.
They know where they're going, and everybody...
They know all the streets.
Absolutely. He doesn't. What does he know in his Porsche? And he says she just jumped out and started screaming out of nowhere. No, she was fine. They just had sex. Everything was fine. Yeah. She just started screaming bloody murder. I like how his story even contradicts with the new hobo story.
Yeah.
The hobo said she got out and was just like, hello, gentlemen.
Hello, fellas.
Hello, folks.
How's your evening?
Yes. Might I ask you, are there any good restaurants in this town? I'm looking for maybe a...
Lovely weather at 2 a.m.
Lovely weather. I'm looking for maybe some tapas, something like that, if you have... No, she got out and started screaming.
You know where I can get some falafel?
Now, Meggett's... I'd make for you. What? You come in. Shawarma, here. Lamb, chicken, beef. What? What do you want? What do you want?
Hilarious.
Soda no come with. So
refill extra.
You refill extra. So Meggett retains a defense attorney named Bart Daniel, who is a former U.S. attorney appointed by the first George Bush. So, I mean, he's got top of the line. This is ridiculous. She figured that if he got, at this point, she's like, what the fuck here? She figures that if he got away with it before, he's just going to get away with it again, especially with her, because nobody's ever had any consequences for anything they've done.
And nothing has gone right in her life up to now.
Nothing, and it continues to not. Her attorneys are discouraging her to push ahead, too.
Wow.
Yeah, she doesn't press criminal charges. The police drop the case. So now the police drop the case now.
So look, we're out. You guys do your thing civil. We're out.
There is a civil suit. The suit settles for now. This whole time, their attorneys are telling her, hey, they're going to say bad things about you. Mm-hmm. You don't want to go up there, and they're discouraging her. She ends up settling for less than $100,000 for this incident.
Wow.
Which is pretty lowball, I think, here. Listen to what her attorney says to her. Whoever this attorney is should be disbarred and have his balls ripped off. I hope it was a man. If a woman said this, she's a fucking asshole, even worse. But the attorney tells her, quote, at least you can buy some nice new outfits.
Yeesh. That is not what you say to somebody that's
take
had
your
that.
rape money and go shopping.
Yeah.
Go on a shopping spree. So Meggett doesn't matter.
Got permanent nerve damage in your hand, but hey, you can get a nice dress.
Nice new dress. So let me ask you something. Let's go over Dave Meggett's patterns at this point. What are his patterns? He's a good football player. That's a pattern. He is very physically forceful sexually with women as a pattern. The other pattern I can think of is he doesn't like to pay shit.
Right.
Not big on paying for stuff.
No.
Especially
owning up to and paying your responsibilities is not his thing.
So he fails to. He
doesn't pay his court fees.
Part of the settlement also was he needed to undergo counseling for this shit. Does not undergo counseling. Does not pay fees.
Right.
So
doesn't take responsibility.
No. So this is like a
responsibility is his biggest problem.
That's his huge
kids,
problem with everything.
Bills.
Football's the only thing he ever had together.
Right.
That's it. On the field, he's great. Off the field, he's like Eddie Johnson.
Yeah.
If you kept him in the building all the time, he'd be fine. But don't fucking let him out. Once you let the doors out, holy shit, he's jumping out of windows.
Is not his thing.
He's jumping out of windows with pimp shooting at him like Eddie Johnson. It's pathetic. So anyway, she, at this point, that's a default now. So now she's awarded $1.5 million.
Nice.
Now she gets $1.5 million. But he's dead fucking broke from child support.
Not getting it anyway.
He's got nothing. They end up seizing his house and his assets.
Time to pay up, bitch.
Because he's got time to pay up, bitch. Exactly. No shawarma for you.
No.
So now, because also too, there's other women who have their hands in his pockets because he owes them countless thousands in child support.
Yep.
After everything, attorney fees, everything. You know how much cash she gets? $80,000. That's what she walks away with.
Not even the original fee.
Nope. $80,000.
That's a bummer.
She ends up spending it on drugs and just general living expenses.
This girl
quits her job just for the next 4 years, basically. Until
her life's ruined.
Gone. She said the money made her miserable, and she wanted to get rid of it.
Every time she spent a dime of it, she thought about that rape.
She said that's exactly what she said. She said,
poor girl.
He was still in my life,
yeah,
even though he wasn't there. And at one point, too, this was like all going on. She rode up to a red light, and he came next to her in his car. He didn't notice her. He didn't notice her because she said because
she's driving a new car.
She bought a new truck with the $80,000 too, and probably some nice new outfits. So
dark fucking tinted windows.
Some dark tinted windows, nice new outfits. She
saw
him, and she said she freaked out, obviously, and he pulled up, and then he drove away, and that was that. So yeah, this poor girl. She said she never.
Her life's ruined.
Yeah, and
forever.
The fact that she did not follow through on the suit, she says later on about his future, quote, I always felt somewhat responsible. If they would have followed through in 2001, maybe everything else wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And we'll find out what everything else is here.
Yeah.
Because this is not Dave's
final
hurrah here at all.
But his life already is coming crashing. The dominoes have been hit between the defaults on paying her, between the child support, between football career's over. He has no financial gain at this point. He has no job
name to sell
he's
either.
got nothing.
He can't go. Nobody wants to talk to him. He's
so at this point, he
people
needs to look in the mirror and say, "You, sir, need to knock this shit off."
Yeah, you need to
because we
got to
get this together.
Yeah.
Before we fucking go off the rails.
You would think he would
But that conversation didn't happen.
No. And if it did, it's one of those fleeting ones where he was like just
where he woke up in the morning, he was like, "Man, Dave, you crazy."
Dave, you know what? I like what you do. You know what, Dave?
Dave,
go
you're
get you
a good
some
man.
shawarma.
Dave, you got a nice smile. You deserve some shawarma.
You deserve some shawarma. Get the lamb, Dave. You deserve the lamb. Get the lamb one. So,
holy shit!
Speaking of, well, not
Dave
shawarma,
Meggett's shit life is so much fun.
It's getting shittier.
Yeah.
It's about to get way
really bad.
Shittier here. Early 2000s, he opens up a Subway franchise restaurant.
Wow.
Which fails and closes.
He's the only man ever to fail a Subway franchise.
Has anyone ever seen an empty Subway? No. They put them up and people line up and get their shit sandwiches and go back to work. Period.
They get their imitation crab and their bullshit turkey and
their club
hope that they lose a couple of pounds.
They toast it now. It's good. No, it's not good.
They'll put the cheese on it.
Put cheese and they toast it and melt it. It's pretty good.
It's all right.
He's such a fucking idiot. He can't get a fucking Subway franchise to go.
It's marketed by itself.
It's a giant sandwich for $5. You could sell
Everybody
those
loves
all
them.
day.
That's what fucking housewives that couldn't cook dinner.
Yes.
They didn't have time because these fucking kids in their homework. They get, fuck it, we'll go to Subway and get a bullshit sandwich.
No, well,
not at his.
Not Dave's. Apparently, he's sitting there looking out the window, going, "Where is everybody? Damn,
where's that goddamn Jared?"
So, Dave takes a job as an assistant football coach at American International College in Springfield, Massachusetts. He was broke from child support at this point.
Yeah.
He's just needs a job. He's fucked.
And rape payments.
And this is his downfall here of everything. Davin, his kid, here has a little insight into this. He said, quote, "It went from me spending summers in a big house with a pool with 3 cars, living the dream, to living in a townhouse. Then it was a 1-story, 2-bedroom trailer house with 1 car that's not even his, and him not having enough money to even send me home." So that's the slide we're going on. This is, we can see this.
From a big house to a little trailer.
To a townhouse to a trailer, not even having his own car.
Somebody else's vehicle.
What a fucking mess.
This is what rape gets you guys.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Stop raping.
Don't be an asshole.
We say this every episode where there's rape. Stop your fucking raping
Just
all the time.
knock it off.
Enough of it. Jesus Christ. It's never accepted.
No.
No one is okay with it.
Nobody.
No one. I'm not okay with it.
I'm not okay.
Is.
Yeah.
I know.
You rape somebody, this fucking crime in sports stops.
It's it.
It's over.
It's it. Yeah, no, I couldn't do that.
And I hope it's the same for me.
It is. It is. If you rape anybody, I'll stop.
It's over.
I can't, Jimmy. How could I? They'd be like, oh, yeah, you with your rapist partner. I'd be done. So, you and your rapist buddy there. So, Meggett, in September 17th of 2004, he's jailed in Dedham, Massachusetts for non-payment of child support. Shocker. He's being held until he can come up with $191,600 in back child support, which he never fucking comes up with. Somehow he gets out of this shit. I don't know. I'm sure the judge said, well, you make, $18,000 a year. Right. You can't even get a Subway franchise off the ground. Let's reduce this, because clearly you can't pay this shit.
I'll reduce it for a sweet onion teriyaki.
Yeah, it's a sweet onion. So, and that's what a lot of these football players, that's their deal, is like they have these heavy child support payments while they're playing because it's based on their income, and then they're not playing anymore.
And then it's like, uh-oh,
and then they're still shelling out, $100,000 a month in child support. You can't do that. So, 2005, Dave is in dire straits. He puts up his Super Bowl ring on eBay.
Awesome.
That is the ultimate sign of complete life failure.
Destruction.
That is what, as we'll say with Sly Williams, that is his toilet. His life toilet is clogged at this point. It's fucked for $40,000. And he needs to pay off debts. He's just screwed. He's living with his girlfriend.
Is it worth $40,000?
I would think.
You think so?
The Giants one, yeah.
But it was the first one, right?
It was the 90 one. It was the second one for the Giants.
Okay.
But it's the Giants. There's a weird thing back there, man. There's a lot of people.
I'm just trying to think how many diamonds are on it to make it worth a lot.
It's more the thing, I think.
Really?
When you have the Giant Super Bowl ring.
Yeah,
it's
but they appraise them based on the weight of it, too.
True.
Yeah,
so I think this is all based on what it is.
I'd like to see the ring still.
I'd like to see.
I want to know
the
if it's
mirrors
worth...
are pretty classy. I bet it's kind of plain but has nice diamonds in it.
And it's New York.
It's you have
fucking
to be
New York City.
Real nice,
Yeah.
So at this point, he's living with his girlfriend in Greenville, North Carolina. He gets a job as the recreation director in a nearby town called Robersonville, North Carolina. He makes $27,000 a year doing this.
Ooh.
It's just
in 2003?
In 2005.
Oh my God.
Robersonville is described here. This is a great quote as, quote, a podunk 2,000-person town that people come to when they're at a last resort.
Hilarious.
Jesus Christ, that sounds miserable.
It's basically
miserable.
It's a rehab city for like people that are
mess.
just down on their luck and they're like, I got to get it back together. I'm going to Greenville. Is it Greenville?
Greenville, North Carolina. So this is Robersonville as well. Robersontonville.
Robersontonville.
Shithole, North Carolina.
Damn.
So most of his paycheck's going to child support. He's getting nothing because it's all garnished. So he takes a second job at night at a 24-hour gas station.
Holy shit.
Pro Bowler.
You used
Super
to be
Bowl
Dave
champion.
Meggett.
You are now you go up and you go, can I get 20 on pump 2 at 2 in the morning? And you see David on a little name tag and you're like, that can't,
No way.
No. I mean, he's short, but I didn't think Dave was that short.
You go in the bathroom and splash water on your face.
Yeah.
Did I really say that?
Dave Meggett? Let me try to tackle him and make sure. So,
I'm going to throw a football at him.
The town police chief, Daryl Knox, did a background check on Dave and didn't think he'd get hired. Because he saw his background.
Yeah.
When he said he told the town manager of his record, like, I don't think we can hire this guy.
Right.
He's,
told the town manager.
Everybody. They have a town manager who does all the hiring. I don't even think that's like the mayor. I don't know what the fuck it is down there. So the town manager didn't care. He said he thought it would be good for the community. It's a black community.
You need a graveyard employee, right? Just hire him.
Just hire him. Well, apparently, this is for a recreation director here.
Okay.
So and also this is a black poor community. The town manager's like, he's black, he came up hard in these kind of shithole areas. He made it to the NFL. This could be good for us here.
He used to have a ring.
He used to have a ring. I don't know. Now he's got $40,000 that went to his kids. Chief Knox here said about his tenure there, Dave's tenure, to be honest, he did a great job. As far as organizing trips, having kids and parents show up, he was the best. We have poor children, broken homes, but he could work the neighborhood and talk to the parents. So, I mean, Dave, outside of raping, is a fantastic human being.
Yeah.
But good God, the town library called him, quote, very mannerly.
Hilarious. He opens doors and shit.
Yeah, I love that I could find a quote from the Robersonville, North Carolina town librarian. That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Now, 2005, 2006, early 2006, his girlfriend, who he moved there with, leaves him for another man at this point.
Ouch.
Not cool.
That
Dave.
stings.
That's going to sting Dave, and Dave is not taking that shit.
That ain't going away.
Because on September 2nd, 2006, he is charged with second-degree rape of his ex-girlfriend in Greenville, South Carolina. Or North Carolina, sorry. God, I want to say
He raped her for leaving?
The Pitt County Sheriff, Sheriff's Detective P.E. Moore said, quote, they were having some problems. He wanted to get back with her, and she didn't. He came over to see her, and things went bad. I would say so. That is an understatement. Let me tell you why, because let's get into what happened here.
Uh-oh.
Meggett walks into his ex-girlfriend's home. This was 2 weeks earlier in August. Walks into her home that used to be his home.
Right.
Marches right in, uninvited. Begins questioning her about her plans for the evening.
Where are you going?
Where are you going? When he starts interrogating her, she told him she was seeing her new boyfriend, and he responded by telling her he had his gun in the car. Yeah. She says at that point he shoved her down.
Yep.
Meggett did the left arm trick again. Same description exactly. Left arm underneath her, pulled the left arm, did the same thing. It's his fucking dish towel. See Tom Paine.
That's his finishing move.
It's his finishing move, exactly. He rapes her. After he was done, the phone rings, her phone. He answers it. There's silence on the other line, so he assumed it's the boyfriend and said, quote, here's what I'll do in their own words again here. In their own words, quote, whoever this is, I'm going to kill you. That's his quote. So, I mean, he's just going nuts.
Man, a few words, but they are fucking incriminating words.
He bursts in, rapes the girl, and starts telling boyfriends are going to kill him. He's like, I'm taking back over. I don't give a fuck. Like, that's insane.
This is my house.
That's insane. Like,
that's
this
crazy
is
talk.
Insane treatment. Then, and this is a definite in their own words here, he turned to the victim and said, quote, in their own words, quote, I don't know if OJ did it, but I understand how he felt. Unquote. Did the old Chris Rock thing. The old Chris Rock joke. Then he headbutted her and left. She went to the hospital for bruises.
So he's a Chris Rock fan.
Yeah. And so he's apparently a Chris Rock fan. He goes to the hospital she goes to the hospital for bruises. The victim here is very upset that the police apparently have released intimate details of the case with the media. Not her name, because she's a sex crime victim. You can't release a name, but everyone in town knows who she is.
Absolutely, because it's Greenville town.
They say, and they say the victim is the mother of his child. They all live there. It's a small town. Yeah. They know who the mother of his child is, so it's clear here. She left, but she was confused about this thing. This girl's messed up in the head. She was upset. She leaves $20 in his fund in jail for him. At one point, like, what the fuck are you doing?
What are you doing?
She said she was hesitant to press charges due to being told that the case would be difficult to prosecute because she was his ex. Yeah. Basically, they said it's going to be he said, she said.
Yeah.
And that's what they tell every one of these girls. Going to be he said. He's not denying the sex. He's saying it's consensual. You guys have had a lot of sex before. It's going to be he said, she said. Do you want to get drugged through the mud? Because then it's going to be a battle of who's more believable, whose character is better.
Now go throw 20 on his cantina so we can get some flaming hot Cheetos.
Yeah, exactly. Which I would have said, I'll take my chances because he's got all raped down the line.
Look
he's got raped taller
than him. Charged.
Yeah, he's got a rap sheet longer than his height, you know? So Meggett claims the sex was rough but consensual. The charges are eventually reduced to misdemeanor sexual battery. No prison time is given, but Meggett is required to register as a sex offender, which he does not, of course, because he's an asshole, which is he'll have a warrant for that later.
Because he skips that responsibility.
Skips it completely because that's something he has to do. He's just like, that's not how I see myself. No. I think he's like, I'm not a sex offender. That's not how. That doesn't fit. Me. That doesn't fit Dave Meggett's image. When I look in the mirror and I'm talking to myself,
when I look into that gas station mirror, I say, Dave, you're all right.
That gas station mirror is 2 a.m. and I lock the door and put the little sign up that says, "Be back in 5 minutes." I look in the mirror and I got to
go give myself a pep talk in the bathroom.
How it works. Yeah, every night I do that. 2:45.
I look through that gang etched mirror.
Yeah, with swastikas carved in it.
It says little Snoopy was here.
Little Snoopy. So he gets 2 years probation also. The victim said she had to live in her car out of fear of being in her house because she was afraid Dave Meggett would burst through the door.
He's just ruining women's lives.
Ruining them all.
Everywhere.
She couldn't take care of her kid anymore, had to give the kid to her parents to take care of because she's living in a fucking car.
She's a disaster.
It's horrible. So now Dave is allowed, he somehow gets permission with his probation to move to South Carolina. He's living in Somerville and hanging out where? Hometown. Yeesh. North Charleston, South Carolina.
Oh, no.
Every time, full fucking circle. Once they get home, it's like, oh boy, here we go.
Here we go. Tommy Gunn's the same way.
Athletes. Rules.
Yeah.
Silver-haired, middle-aged white men. Keep them close.
Yeah.
Drink your milk.
Yeah.
Drink your milk. Don't. What's the other one?
No minors in your fucking
kill
squad.
No minors in your kill squad. That's the one I was looking for. I wanted the kill squad. That's what I was going. No minors in your kill squad. Don't move back home.
No.
Stay wherever you are.
When your life is falling apart, go to a fucking small town in Oklahoma or somewhere far away from your home and start building your shit back.
Yes. He
back
tried
slowly.
in North Carolina. But it didn't work.
Didn't work
now
out.
He's going to go home.
He's beating the shit out of his baby mama.
And he has a hard time getting a job due to his record, which is why he moves back there, because his brother James, who lives there, sets him up with a bunch of manual labor jobs.
Good.
That's where he's at this point. He's digging ditches.
Make little rocks out of big rocks.
Dave's a hard worker. He goes out, he works. That's one thing about Dave, too. He's not like, hey, I'm too much to work. He's like, I got a job at a gas station.
I'll do it in a second.
I don't care. I got to get pussy.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. As long as there's women at the end of this,
I'll slang Newports. I don't care.
Now, 2007, he meets a 17-year-old girl.
What?
Guess what? She's got drug and personal problems. She's got all sorts of drug problems. She's, quote, known to law enforcement at 17, and a girl, that's a bad sign. He would help her out. He'd give her a few bucks here or there. He'd buy her a meal. Basically was kind of just grooming her, we'll say.
Getting her in a position of vulnerability.
People will go, isn't that nice? He's helping that girl out. He's grooming her like he does with everybody. Told her his name was Michael. So this is a thing he does when they're young, because the last girl was 20.
Plus, if she Googles Dave Meggett, she might find out that he's fucked a few people against their will.
They talk about that a lot. Like, once the internet starts coming around, that's when he starts saying, I'm Mike. Because he doesn't want anybody to know shit. One morning, he invites her to breakfast. He said he needed to stop at his sister's house first, invites her in to show her the house. He's like, I'm coming in anyway, come here. Takes her into a pink bedroom, and guess what he does, Jimmy?
I feel like there's a left hand involved.
Left hand, pins her down, hand behind the back, exact same thing. This is what I mean. Like, you could go, well, maybe some of these girls are just trying to get money. No. He's got a signature, and he fucking uses it.
Every time.
He should be... Forget.
It's like the Boston Strangler with the fucking pantyhose around the neck.
Yeah, I'd like to rip his little balls off at this point. I'm so mad. She tried to say no, but he covered her mouth with his free hand. Do you know why he covered her mouth? You know why it was so important that she be quiet?
No.
Because his fucking sister was home and sleeping in the same house. So he had to quietly rape her.
What?
Doesn't use a condom. Gets her back in the car. Silently drives her back to her house. Drops her off like nothing happened. Didn't say shit to her. She called police.
Good for her.
Dave Meggett uses the same bail bondsman he used the last time. He's like, hey, you remember me from 2001?
Get some other crazy bitch that it was time to pay up.
Now, a few weeks later, the victim says another man assaulted her and then recants that. So now she's credibility, of course. And he's the luckiest man alive.
He really is.
Bitch. He's so lucky. Prosecutor Chad Simpson said, quote, they would have portrayed her as someone who's always crying rape, which would have destroyed us, considering the victim's credibility is the whole case. Which, as shitty as that sounds, it's actually true.
They're right. Yeah.
So, I mean, this whole thing, he's the luckiest son of a bitch, but he's a scumbag, and everybody knows it.
Yeah.
He's ruined how many lives now?
Countless
lives.
9 kids.
9 kids, those women he's raping.
Yeah.
And the thing is, too, there's this article I read, there's statistics. Basically, 8% of rapes get reported, is what it is. And like 3% of rapes result in any jail time at all. So basically, who knows how many goddamn women he was raping? It
could number into the hundreds.
Yeah, if we
easily.
have a few here, it's 100 times. It's insane. So I'm just all of these women, the people of Robersonville that tried to trust him, those kids, everybody, Jimmy,
everybody that's co-signed for him to get jobs, everybody that's been in his life.
I feel bad for all these people, Jimmy. I really do. I feel as much this week as I've done at any point in the past. I feel bad for them, but God damn it, not nearly as bad as I feel for David Meggett. 2 G's, 2 T's exact
Unbelievable.
spelling. A pilot for United Airlines.
What the fuck?
He went to Naval Postgraduate School after the University of Arizona. He resides in Colorado Springs,
and he has
Colorado.
been through so many background
Holy
checks. And
shit.
so many times he had to sit down and look an employer straight in the eyes and say, it's not me. I didn't do it.
Because if you Google search Dave or David Meggett, you will get 30 pages of rape and horrors.
Oh, this poor guy.
And one poor son of a bitch in there. Oh, David Meggett, you poor bat. I salute you, Captain, because holy shit, what a disaster, man.
Jesus.
Unreal.
Put one in the Hudson sometime and be a hero.
Jesus, you know what I'm saying? So now, 2008, Meggett befriends a woman named Stacy Hooper. She's a 21-year-old girl.
Yeah.
She's trying to make enough money to attend the College of Charleston.
Yeah.
She's living with a bunch of roommates in a shitty house. Yeah, that's all typical.
The whole
thing.
college thing.
Yeah. She's
21.
a lesbian, too.
All right.
She's a lesbian. This is a little different for Dave here. Now, Meggett hangs around these kids. He's just hanging out with the kids. And they're like, they all thought it was kind of weird. Yeah, that middle-aged guy was hanging out, but they were like, these were all like kind of fuck-ups, these kids, and they were like, they said like, the girl said her limits of weird are a little different than other people's, so she's
a lesbian and she does drugs and she's 21 and
she's okay with people that are a little off. You know what I mean?
But
so,
you know what, this is
I'm say.
very indicative of like that whole predator mentality to where like you run with that pack and chase that pack around until that one gazelle gets sick and starts limping.
That's it. And
then
on
you
him.
pounce.
And then you pin their left arm behind the back and you rape them. and then you tell everyone that she didn't pay her rent. Good Lord. Free fucking, he says. Good God. So Meggett would hang around the kids. He'd loan them a few bucks from time to time. Where he's getting a few bucks to loan these kids on anything, I don't know. He'd give them rides, places.
A few bucks is probably accurate. It's probably exactly that. It's probably $3 here and there.
$5 for Taco Bell. I mean, literally.
And a 21-year-old kid, that's fantastic.
Guess we told him his name was?
Mike.
You got it, my friend. Old Mikey, he's back in town. Old Mikey's back. She heard that he used to play football, but she never even asked a follow-up question.
She's a lesbian.
Never
She
looked
doesn't give a fuck about sports.
Whatever.
I don't care. Cool,
none of them did.
Sports.
They were just like, whatever, because he's old to them. They're like, whatever. He played football. Who cares? They probably thought he was making it up. She said, "quote All I knew is that he said he had warrants in either Georgia or North Carolina. He said he had fucked up. I felt sorry for him, so I didn't ask him what they were for. It just seemed like he needed friends."
Trusting people,
and I assume that warrant is for failing to register as a sex offender in North Carolina. That's what I'm 90% sure about that. Now, Hooper was broke. She breaks up with her girlfriend at one point, and she's broke completely. Breaks up with the girlfriend who helped pay the bills here. She needs $200 from Meggett to keep her electricity on in the house. So Meggett lends her $200, pays the bill.
That was nice.
She pays her bill for her. She says at one point they had drunken consensual sex.
Wow.
She says this when she was, quote, going through a buy stage, which is interesting.
Going through a buy stage conveniently when the electricity is about to get shut off.
Exactly. They don't talk for several months. They kind of just like drift apart.
Because the electricity's paid.
yeah. I mean, they were all hanging out, whatever. Then one night, it's like 1 a.m. She wakes up, and Dave's sitting on the edge of her bed. He came in her house, sat on the edge of her bed, and he wants his $200 back. Now, it's like 8 months later. He's like, by the way, bitch, where's my $200? And she's like, I was sleeping. Yeah, pay up, bitch. That's his whole thing. Time for you to pay up, bitch. He said, quote, "Don't fuck with me and my money." And then he continued, "I'm going to get a down payment now." And so she resisted. He chokes her to stop the resisting, and then we don't even need to say it. Left arm behind, twists her left arm under the back, the whole thing. Same technique. She said, quote, "It hurt really bad. I was crying, telling him to stop, and he was hurting me. I couldn't fight anymore, and he was able to get my pants off." So he rapes her, of course. this time, he's getting smart with DNA and shit. He pulls out and busts off into a towel here.
Nice.
So he
clever.
Yeah,
should have done that 9 times earlier.
Exactly. Yeah, busts out into a towel, fucking scumbag.
Yep.
And then takes the towel with him.
Yep.
Says, quote, "I'm gone," and he's out.
Yep.
Goes out the front door, but then he stops and starts talking to her through the front window. He was saying he was sorry and asking for forgiveness and saying that he was wrong and they were still friends. It's cool.
Wow.
He's like, it's cool, right? It's cool, right?
It's cool, right?
You're not going to go to the cops or nothing like these other crazy girls.
Listen,
Listen,
I've been through this once or twice.
People can't take a raping once in a while. It's like, come on, what the fuck? So she goes to the hospital, and they took pictures and saw the hand marks and bruises on her neck. They take all the pictures. Meggett kept calling her to apologize, like in the hospital, and the cops are there. And Hooper, the girl here, Stacey Hooper, and the police set it up for the police to hear his phone apologies. Perfect. And they say, and she tells him to come to the hospital to visit her.
Yeah.
And so this happens here. She does this. Prosecutor Chad Simpson here for before says, quote, "She played into his hopes that if he acted like a nice guy, she wouldn't go forward. And he figured if he was standing right there, she'd be less likely to tell the detectives what actually happened."
Yeah.
No, he's arrested in the hospital lobby as he walks in. He walks in thinking he's, okay, I got to go, placate this girl so she doesn't call the cops.
I'm going to go wash this dirty laundry.
They take him in.
Good.
No bail.
Nice.
He waits 21 months for the trial, sits in jail waiting for shit. So he's getting what he deserves now.
Time to pay up, bitch.
Time to pay up, bitch. Fucking prosecutors, they file a motion to introduce Meggett's prior crimes as evidence. This is clever. Circuit Judge Christy Harrington denies it, saying it would prejudice the jury.
Right.
But the only way to get that in is if the defense is bringing up a character defense.
Nice.
Then you can say, oh, your character, this is part of your character, your past crimes. If they don't do that, then you can't bring it in, basically.
Right.
He doesn't testify. He doesn't do that. So, so basically, it's inadmissible. But it's very clever that they did this because the prosecutors wanted the judge to know what his priors were.
Yeah.
And we'll find out why in a minute here. Meggett is now, does not have a silver-haired middle-aged white man as a lawyer at all.
Yeah, because he can't afford it. It's a public defender.
He's got a public defender named Beatty Butler. Beatty fucking Butler now.
I love it.
That is not a former U.S. attorney, I have a feeling. At all.
That is not a good omen either. When he sees that on the paperwork, he's got to go, fuck, I'm so ruined.
Now, he actually did a couple of smart things here. He was able to have it so the jurors didn't know that he was a former NFL player, so they wouldn't look him up on the internet, right? So Butler also had Meggett's Wikipedia page deleted for a while during the trial. So he was savvy, this guy.
Good for him.
Now, listen to this ineptitude. This is the luckiest son of a bitch on earth. The luckiest. Police lose the photos that they took of Hooper's neck, so they don't have that evidence. They searched his vehicle and found the towel without a warrant, so guess what's not admissible? The towel. Can't put that in either. So all his evidence is going out the window, basically every bit of physical evidence. The defense says that they're two friends and they had a repayment agreement for sex. They said they had an arrangement that she said, yeah, we'll fuck 4 times or whatever, $40, $50 a pop,
so he
half and half going rate.
He came to get a suck and fuck.
He came to get a suck and fuck. The attorney Butler said, quote, rapists don't ask for condoms and they don't ask for forgiveness. Well, I don't know what they do, rapists.
Right.
But they rape, so that's the important part. Whatever they do afterwards really doesn't fucking matter.
They do try to stay out of jail.
They do try to stay out of jail. Thank you, Jimmy. That was brilliant. Janine Loveland, if we remember, our drugged girl in the Porsche with the nerve damage in her hand, was actually subpoenaed in this case, but they never called her.
Right.
But she was just in case. They had her locked and loaded because that was the priors. If he brings up one thing, we're bringing this bitch on the stand.
Bringing her for a minute.
We're bringing a tiny white girl on the stand saying
with a broken-ass hand.
Exactly. So Meggett does not testify in this trial, smartly, probably. The jury deliberates for 4 hours, which the prosecutor started to get nervous. Because they were like, this shit should not take 4 hours, and all that evidence was gone. They start thinking about offering a plea deal at this point. They're like, oh, maybe we should just try to plea this out.
Right.
But they say, nope, you know what, let's write it out with the jury. Because you know what, if we don't get him here, he'll rape someone else next month, and we'll get him then. He is found guilty after 4 hours of first-degree criminal sexual conduct and burglary.
Oh, because
You know why?
The towel.
Because he took the towel.
Yeah.
That's not his property.
That's not his.
And that counts, too, because that's an aggravating factor.
It probably said Hilton on the tag anyway.
She didn't have a towel. Yeah,
it wasn't hers, but it was in her house, so it's hers.
Now, for sentencing, this is when the priors with the judge came up.
Fantastic.
Prosecutor, exactly. Simpson here is smart, this prosecutor. He said that they knew the judge was not going to allow the priors, and they had no chance of that, but it doesn't matter.
But in sentencing, that
he
shit
wanted
comes
her
up.
to see them.
Absolutely.
Because now she knows. Before that, she wouldn't have known.
Right.
That's
He's a
big
sexual
deal.
predator. This man is a registered sex offender.
Yeah. Now, we come to sentencing day. This fucking moron declines to make a statement before sentencing. If you've been convicted and you're about to be sentenced,
for forgiveness.
You get your ass out there and you say,
get on your knees.
I'm sorry and I'm wrong and I've read the Bible and I've had a moral epiphany. God
a Mexican pimp showed up into my jail cell and asked me.
Holy shit. A Mexican pimp at this point bursts into the courtroom, guns blazing, pours him a drink, and he asks,
how is it that you have come to find yourself here?
how is it you have come to arrive here? That's it. How is it you've come to arrive here? Mr. Meggett, I ask you, how is it you've come to arrive here? And
it's this cock.
Would you like some shawarma?
Yeah, it's this cock.
It's this cock. So he declines to speak, and guess what the judge bangs him for? This is great.
I want to hear it.
30 years.
Oh, my God.
Not only that, in South Carolina, they don't do this shit if it's a rape crime like this. He's doing 25
mandatory.
Minimum.
Wow.
Minimum. You, sir, may fuck off.
Absolutely.
And keep fucking off.
Because you are a 60-year-old man at this point.
Until you were at least 72 years old.
He is dead. He will die in prison.
Yeah, he's dead. He's dead.
Going to die in prison.
Going to die in prison.
Absolutely.
In prison, he's doing great. Yeah. They said he's like a part of the honor guard where they let the dorms open like Oz and they go watch TV and shit. Everybody likes him. He's never had a problem. Because there's no women to rape.
There's no women to fuck.
No women to rape. As long as there's nobody to rape, he's a great guy. Just got to keep him away from women. Now, here's something that pissed me off. In an article on profootballtalk.nbcsports.com. So NBC,
legit article.
Greg Rosenthal, who's an NFL.com guy, said this whole thing, he described the whole thing. He described in this article Dave's history, his other battery charges, assault, this, that.
So he's very well versed in the world of Dave Meggett.
This isn't his first time he's heard Dave Meggett and rape in the same sentence. And he says, after all of the shit he said, that, quote, that said, the sentence seems excessive.
Does it?
You fucking asshole. No, it doesn't. I want him in the cell right next to him.
You're a cunt.
You piece of shit. I want him going to see Tom Paine is what I want.
And he's got a little blue check mark next to his name on Twitter. I hope you all find him and tweet at him and call him a cunt.
Friend him and call him a cunt. Follow him and call him a cunt. I'm tired of this. Now, for the kid here, Davin signs a 3-year free agent deal with the Houston Texans.
Oh, good for him.
And he bounces around. He ends up on the Redskins and a few other teams. Doesn't really do anything with it. Now, to wrap this up, let's get Davin's take on the whole thing. This is almost in their own words.
His son's words on his father.
Son's words on his dad's basically everything now. And they keep coming to him, and he's got to represent 9 other kids and all this shit. So he says, quote, "Do I think he did it? I think he did something. I don't think he did what the police said or what the woman said. He may have hit her, but I don't think he did it to the extent that he had to go away for 30 years. He could have put his hands on her violently. He's an explosive athlete. I'm not going to say he didn't hit her, but it wasn't a Floyd Mayweather jab to the throat. Maybe he just pushed her into the wall or something like that."
Davin, you've been groomed by your father.
Fucking unreal. Everybody around
Davin,
him.
You're a male, so you see him as the great guy that
I
great father.
NFL player. Everybody, oh, your dad's Dave Meggett.
You played in the NFL. You're following in your dad's footsteps, kind of. But you think he's a great person because of that. If you were a girl, you would fucking despise this man.
Despise him. So he appeals. They appeal it. It fails. Basically, in South Carolina, there's no rehab for shit. Like he's not going to counseling or anything because they just don't. They just throw him in a cage and stuff. Rest of the world, our prison system is way different than yours. You guys try
it's all privatized and fucked up.
Here it is, and especially in the South, because they don't give a fuck down there. It's all about punishment. They basically just throw you in a hole.
They're looking to try to find a way to kill you so that it's over and it's done.
Cheaper.
Yeah.
So I mean, and there we go. That's Dave Meggett. I mean, he's sitting in jail. He's going to be there for a long time. Good riddance, asshole.
It's over. He's going to die in there, and his son can go to his grave or go to his father's funeral and just say, he was good to me.
This is one of the worst people we've ever done. This is worse.
He's a terrible human being.
I can think of at least five murderers that were less shitty than this.
Ruined less lives.
That ruined less lives.
That's what it is.
Shitty.
Yeah.
Craig Titus was less shitty than this. Even Naposki was probably less shitty than this.
Ruined way less lives.
Way less lives. Ray Carruth killed a pregnant woman, so fuck him. Yeah, he's whatever.
It's pretty awful.
You know, like Jason Williams, like an accidental shot in the face. I mean, this guy is
Tommy
way
Morrison, I mean, he banged a bunch of chicks.
Yeah, he was just stupid.
And
no one
just
matches his
slinging AIDS out there.
He was just pumping AIDS out like it was from an ice cream truck.
But this
horrible.
is just it's predatory. Like those, everybody else didn't have like that predatory. He's just an absolute predator.
He's a monster.
Yes.
He's a fucking
terrible human being.
Monster incarnate. Teflon dong. That's it. He's the Teflon dong. Wrapping it up. I wish I could call the episode the Teflon dong, but I can't.
No, that's a little too on the
dong
nose.
on iTunes too. I don't think will fly, but. God damn it! You guys.
It's a little too perfect, really.
It's a little too, good.
But that's what it is. It's just bulletproof.
So that's Dave Meggett, guys. Jesus, we told you it was a tale, and it was, man, because that was.
He shouldn't have messed with the lesbian.
That's the thing. After all this, the lesbian, I love
it. The lesbian fucked him over.
Good for you, lesbians. Lesbian community.
Chalk that up for a win for LGBT.
Rapist off the street, man. I'm telling you guys. So we're going to do some quick shout-outs here for all the people that like to interact with us and everything. If you want to follow us on social media, it's at Crime and Sports on Twitter, crimeandsports@gmail.com if you want to tell us some shit and we'll talk about it. Also, facebook.com/crimeandsports. If you want to donate to our page, it's patreon.com/crimeandsports. There's some cool rewards on there, and we just couldn't thank you enough for that. We just moved into a new studio, could use everything we can, but honestly, what we'd really love is iTunes reviews, because that brings us up the charts and gets us better sponsors, which gets us their money. And we don't want your money. We got you guys to drive around or work out or do whatever the hell you do while you listen to this and enjoy it and laugh and not have to worry about shit and not have to worry about, oh, should I give these guys a couple of bucks? Let us get good sponsors. That way you don't have to worry about it. So, Jimmy, you have some shout-outs?
Yeah, Python Cricket.
Yeah,
they're going to send us a bat. They said that they would send us one.
That's right. Oh, God, that's the best. We're getting a cricket
bat. They got my address.
We have no fucking clue how to use, but it's going to be
and
great.
And then Busby in Australia sent me a bunch of cricket videos so that I can learn about cricket.
Shit,
and there is a cricket league here in Arizona that we can join with our brand new Python cricket bat.
Dude, we're doing that. I am joining that league.
So they're amazing.
We're sharing a bat, though.
Even more so, the two podcasts between Motor City, Sports Talk, and Rightly So. Rightly So, they're a UK-based
I've heard
podcast, and they said that our mention of them on our podcast got them their biggest week ever.
Are you kidding
me? Just this past week.
Holy shit.
So we've done something amazing.
Wow, that's trippy.
So thank all of you for going and listening to those guys and their unbelievable English accent.
Patreon people, quick. A couple people did. Marius Johnson, thank you so much. We appreciate the shit out of it. You're the best. And Susan Campbell also, thank you so much for your donations on Patreon. Really, you guys... That's just, we can't even express to you how great we feel about that. Thank you so much, really. It's appreciated.
And we got a new Twitter follower that is very, very vocal, Harry Bowles.
Oh, I love Harry
Balls.
Yeah, I like
I think
Harry
it's Balls, right?
Yeah, he's going for Harry Balls, I'm pretty sure. He's trying to be clever about it, which it's fine with me because he's a good guy.
And Nina Dressler, and I mean it's so deep.
Mark Busby, Wedbetter, our hardcores.
But the mentions seem to get deeper and deeper every week.
Yeah, dude. Thank you guys.
It's huge.
Thanks, guys, and keep this going. Literally, we've said a million times, we are not on a network. We have no network. We're not journalists. We don't have a big thing behind us. We're a couple of comics. Working our asses off and just trying to put out an entertaining program. So if you like it, please try to spread it. Crime and Sports Movement, please spread it around.
Tell 6 friends to friend us and call us a cunt. I'm into it.
Jimmy, you want to give them your social media?
Yeah, at Wisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, and Jimmy Wisman on Facebook. If you find me on either of those networks, you'll learn to spell my first name, whatever. So.
And I am at Jimmy P is Funny. Also, too, want to plug a little thing. September 21st at the Tempe Improv. It's a Wednesday night. Please come out. Paul Verzi's coming in from New York to headline that night, and I'll be featuring for him. And it's going to be a fun night. Paul's a great comic, and we really want to fill that.
He's a great
out.
comic.
So come out and see us, and we'll talk about sports shit.
And then I'm at September 16th. It's a Friday. I'll be in San Diego at the Comedy Palace. There's 2 shows, 7:30 and 9, I believe. I think that's the times. I could be wrong. Check the website, comedypalace.com. It's going to be fun.
Nice. Very good. Very cool. And thank you guys so much. Live.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey. Everyone out there should listen to Small Town Murder. You really should, mainly because you never know who's next door. And that's the point of this show, really. You never know who is next door. You never know what's going to happen on Small Town Murder. That's what makes it so wonderful. The only thing you do know is that people are going to die, and we're probably going to make jokes about it. That's it. That's all we can promise you. We dig into these towns. We see what makes them tick, from local legends to scandals they may have had. And, of course, the biggest scandals of all, horrible murders that take place there. And we put our, what I feel is a completely appropriate comedic spin on the whole thing. And you know you need a laugh right now. So get in there, listen to Small Town Murder. Follow Small Town Murder on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Small Town Murder early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.